So I go downstairs, and it's not particularly crowded. And, usually by the time I hit the button and go down there, it's a minute or two tops, and it comes out, and you come back. So no big deal. I get down there, and it's not crowded, but it's not there's a few more people than usual. So I'm like, okay, whatever. 5 minutes goes by, 7 minutes goes by, and I noticed that people have come in way after me. New people got their stuff and bounced. I'll give it a few more minutes. Maybe it's backed up or whatever. Another 3 or 4 minutes goes by. Now I've been standing there like 10 or 12 minutes.
You said nothing?
No, I said nothing. And then I was like, you know what? Reopened my phone, looked at the thing, never hit order. I chose what I want, but I never hit the button. And I said, oh, that's probably why it's not coming out, because I never hit the button to order. I hit it, and it came out in 30 seconds.
Well, okay, I got to give you
That's
credit.
how stupid I am.
The fact that you didn't say anything is impressive. I don't have that. Okay, let me give you an example. I think it was Friday night, go out to a restaurant, and I don't know how you are when you go out to a restaurant, but I'm
excited.
I'm kind of a, I'm a hawk out there. I'm looking. So I come take my seat, kind of looking to my left. There's a couple there. To their left is a group of 4. To their right is another group of 4, kind of a family.
Okay.
I know that they've already been there.
Okay.
So I know they're supposed to get the food before I get my food.
Gotcha.
Right? They're supposed to get their drinks. That attention should be on them. I'm just walking into this place.
Got it.
But in front of me, there's a couple there. And the fact that we had ordered our drinks and then we ordered dinner, and then I saw probably 20 minutes later, they get their dinner before we get our dinner. Now all of a sudden, all these
they're
alerts,
out to get me.
The alerts are coming up. Did something happen here? I'm impressed that you took I'm going to sit there for 10, 12 minutes, and I'm not going to make any noise.
It's always user error on my end. It's very rarely where someone else has made the mistake. 99% of the time it said I did it wrong, and guess what? This was the time I did it wrong. Mm-hmm. That little green thing in the bottom right corner where you have to hit order, never hit.
I should order.
You got to hit that. You got to go one more tap.
Yeah.
One more tap.
More often for me, it's that I go to the wrong one, like you mentioned.
The wrong store?
Yeah. I'll sometimes try to use, if I'm going to go to a fast food place, I'll have the app and just try to get points or whatever for whatever I do, because fast food is getting more and more expensive.
It is.
So I will put in, hey, I want to get my McChicken from this McDonald's or whatever. But then it'll automatically do the closest one to you.
Right, even if you're driving or whatever the case
not necessarily
is.
the one that you want to go to. And so I'll, put the order in or whatever, and then I'll drive to the one that I think that I'm going to, and then I'll go to the wrong one. So I always,
what
nowadays...
happens then?
Then they say, hey, I go through the drive-thru. I say, hey, my order is GR64. And they said, we don't have GR64. And then I just go and I look down and I say, oh, hey, then I'm at the wrong place. And then I go to the map.
Do you peel out? Do you look away in embarrassment? Or do you
I just get mad at
what are you
myself. It's similar to you, where you're like, I can't blame anybody else for my own incompetence. And
She just starts talking to herself.
Yesterday I'm picking up Maite from school, and then I stand in front of the gate. Literally in front of the gate. There's stairs.
At the school?
Gate. Yeah. And then I see all the parents lined up behind me with the little plastic, or not a laminated piece of paper with the kid's name and the grade they're in.
Like a limo driver at the airport?
Yeah. So that's just for the first week. They kind of want to do that just to kind of keep it going. It's a different entrance or different drop-off zone for Maite this year. So they want that this year. Brandon never gave me the card. I didn't know about the card. So I'm standing there with Gael just waiting for Maite to get out. And then I didn't know the process. I see all the parents back there lined up until I see one of the dads from last year in kinder. He's like, hey, man, you got to get in line, bro.
You have to get in line? They walk the kids out one by one?
No, but they call their names because they're down there in the yard, and they call them by name. But I'd rather do that than get on that long
I got fast pass.
line. Yeah, exactly. No, lightning lane. Lightning lane. I got the fast pass.
Did you guys not know that you can do this on the app? You can just cut to the front of the line at school?
Paying the principal on the side. Give it some cash.
I just feel like this is the sort of day that we're going to get into today. Yeah. I'm feeling a little off my game today, Slee.
All right, first off.
Just letting you know. Just giving you a heads up.
I didn't want to do this, but as many people know, we had a very, very important, critical Olympic Games in the office. We had Olympic Games in the office. I don't think we could call them that.
The summer competition or something like that. Yeah.
Yep. And
office stuff.
Yeah, office stuff.
Office competition.
Office competition with rings.
I don't need to tell you how much I was training for this. Once I found out in May that this was happening. And once the Lakers were eliminated, I think on May 1st, I went full training. Our show got gold and silver. That, you could say, in itself is quite an accomplishment.
Bravo!
Quite an accomplishment.
Like yesterday.
Yeah.
But I did have some head-to-head matches with you.
Yeah,
that I did lose.
You went 1-3 head-to-head.
That I did lose. Okay? The only thing that I won was basketball.
Pop a shot.
The only thing I won is the Papa shot.
Do you know how much you won by?
6 or 8 or something
Okay.
like that.
Yeah, you're pretty good at that.
Well, I just hit the backboard every time. That's not that. That's like
Well, you hit the backboard more frequently than anyone else, I guess.
the competition that it came down to for you and I was the
Sticky hands.
whatever the heck that thing was.
Sticky hand.
Quarter in the middle, sticky hands. We both land on it, but
It was the greatest sticky hand competition in the
might have
history of the world.
It might have been, and you might have just had a little bit more girth pulling it towards you. And that was the difference of
Never
me getting
underestimate my girth, Slee.
gold. That was the difference between me getting gold and silver. So I'd like to congratulate you and your girth.
we appreciate your congratulations.
Here's our gold winner for our competition.
I took gold. I took the overall gold. I am basically the Simone Biles of this particular competition because I took the team gold, the overall gold, and I also had 3 individual golds.
Well,
Individual all around, one might say.
Here's the
Individual
one-
all around and 3 individual apparati.
one doesn't
wins.
count.
Why not?
The one with Mason.
Why not?
Because he can't miss 3 in a row when all he has to do is
Were
just
you in
hit
the
one
finals?
chip shot. It was not in the finals. Then. I was not.
I mean, okay,
I was
so
on the sidelines. Hey, as a sideline spectator, we broadcast and we analyze other people's game all the time.
it was sometimes you get to the World Series and you're not at your best in that game. The other guy just happened to be
shots.
a little bit. I made the 4th. And I
you
went 1 for 1 in the original competition. So did Mace. And then I went 1 for 4 and he went 0 for 4. And that's got the gold in the flick football.
Why did he move his? You know, how, like sometimes
He tried to adapt my technique
not
late in the
just
game.
that, but like his first shot, he like moved back.
Yeah,
Like, why are you moving back?
He's the only time I've ever seen someone in flick football come up short. Like I've seen wide left, wide right. I've seen it off the upright. I've never seen he didn't have enough leg.
It looked
to
like
get
it was
there.
a 62-yarder, and he kicked it 60.
It
But
wasn't
was right
very
in front of
good.
him.
So I got the gold in flick football. I got the gold in sticky hands and paper airplanes. I got the gold in, and
paper
apparently
airplanes.
I had
Paper
a
airplanes are
fairly
not good.
significant victory in paper airplanes. I was significantly so. Not only do I have the girth in the sticky hands, but I had the length in the paper airplane category.
Well, this guy built like a freaking stealth bomber. I don't know what he was building. Like I folded a sheet of paper 3 times, and
you would
my
have had better
plane-
luck just balling it up and throwing it down the hallway.
If that was an option, I would have done that. My plane either hit directly to the wall or just nosedived.
And you had a minute to build this, right?
Yes.
Yeah, about a minute. Trav's like it took off, it went up, it like toured a little
Banked.
bit,
Took a tour.
swerved down.
Nice soft landing in the middle of the
Nice
hallway.
soft landing.
It was pretty good. Well, thank you for bringing it up. Yeah, and then Greg, of course, had the bronze. He tried to throw a little shade at you at one point, saying that there
Did
could
he
have
also
been.
mention how many RBIs he had in the softball game?
No, I believe it's his OPS that he's most concerned
yeah.
about.
Stolen bases.
Yeah, he said something. I wasn't listening because it didn't matter to me. I already had the gold.
Yeah.
But he said something to you about he had a
it was
chance to get
flipped.
silver.
No, I think it was flipped.
What do you mean?
No. What
He
was
thought he
talking
had a
about-
chance.
because I guess he had an issue with one of the interns. They
Oh,
were
it was with the
stacking the
fries.
fries.
The fry stacking.
So the fry thing was falling down. My point was, by me getting the silver, I was awful in pretty much everything but basketball, and the fact that I still won silver, I don't know what that represents about our entire competition all the way around.
And you can check out the videos on Instagram. They have them on Instagram on ESPN Los Angeles.
And including my victory
And the
ceremony.
victory speech and me
Okay.
yelling in the background.
Bravo! Bravo!
This guy, by the way, showed me a picture of him and his son.
Hey, easy.
Was it the one from?
Hey.
I got questions.
I
That's
got
all
questions,
I'm saying.
too.
I got
What's funny
questions.
is my little sister has a very similar picture
I think
when
we
she
all
was
do.
around that age too.
Yeah.
We all do.
Yeah,
thing is-
that is a standard baby picture.
Yeah.
But it's a good one.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm
Too
watching
young.
the game, and so I'm watching the
You're
game.
holding your boy.
Right, and then he comes over, he's crying, he's fuzzy, so Brenda's, preparing his bottle. And then I have mine. And then his reaction is, oh, there's one. He's reaching out to it.
Sure.
And that's when Brenda's like, are you? No, I'm not. Just let me take a picture. Optical illusion.
He already has good taste.
Uh-huh. Well, I knew it wasn't yours.
Because I like the negative.
It was an especial in that man's hands, and I'm like, that's not Jorge's first choice. I've had enough of those with you to know what your preference is, and it wasn't that.
They don't have it downstairs anymore.
No?
No, there's been, 4 different times that I've been
Okay.
there, and I asked for that. We don't have it.
Yeah, suck a lobosita instead.
I know.
You got to go there. All right. Dodgers win again yesterday. They're scoring runs. Gavin Stone pitched well. But I think that today's game 3 of the 4-game series, and who's on the mound today, is actually the most interesting part of this entire series. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. There's nothing like NHL hockey, LA Kings hockey on 710 ESPN. Welcome to the family.
Brand new partnership. We're excited to have the Kings right here, the home of the Los Angeles Kings. And Trav, now I just need an invitation to go catch a game.
You have been giving you one forever. Now you have to
across the street. Now it's across the street.
Go Kings, go.
Go Kings, go.
The Kings are back on 710 ESPN. Believe it or not, I did pregame for the Kings 25 years ago. Damn, I'm old. Luke Robitaille, the rest of the Kings organization couldn't be more excited. Go Kings, go.
Go Kings, go. Nothing like live hockey. Nothing like seeing it in person. Nothing like watching it on TV. Nothing like listening to it on the radio. And we've got them on ESPN LA. Go Kings, go.
We're so excited. The LA Kings have found a new home right here on 710 ESPN. Can't wait to see you on the ice.
I want to congratulate the LA Kings. You are now on the greatest sports radio station in America, 710. And guess what? Now I get to be one of the ice girls at a Kings game. Go Kings, go. Go Kings, go. Go Kings, go.
Of its game. Welcome to Cadillac of Beverly Hills, the #1 Cadillac dealer in the Western region for the 3rd year in a row. Come and check out the incredible selection of new and pre-owned vehicles today at our showroom, 8767 Wilshire Boulevard in Beverly Hills, and at CadillacBeverlyHills.com.
Hey kids, Uncle Artie here from Pernia Law, here to tell you about our newest partnership deal with Matt Barnes, who has deep LA roots, former Bruin and pro basketball player for both LA teams.
If you're looking for the best possible results after an accident, call my guy, Uncle Artie, at Pernia Law. That's 844-DIAL-UNC. That's 844-DIAL-UNC.
That's right. Call us or slip into the DM, Uncle.Artie.
Uncle Artie's not just my friend, but he's your uncle in the business. Artie Pernia is a seasoned personal injury attorney who works with you, so you receive the best possible compensation for your case. Let Uncle Artie and the Pernia Law family provide peace of mind, so you can focus on recovery and getting back to you.
If you've been injured in an accident or you're unhappy with your current injury attorney, come to Pernia Law. We take care of you like family. That's why they call me Uncle Artie.
Call my guy, Uncle Artie, at Pernia Law. That's 844-DIAL-UNC. That's 844-DIAL-UNC.
Progressive presents Renter's MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Tom Kelly's carbon fiber mountain bike. Because more than riding his carbon fiber mountain bike, Tom loves telling people about his carbon fiber mountain bike. Friends, family, even a local barista knows about his carbon fiber mountain bike. And that's why Tom's carbon fiber mountain bike, if you haven't heard about it, is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This is the Mid-Morning Spectacular live from LA Live. Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
We will have the bronze medalist, Ask a Bronze Medalist, coming up at 10:45. Corporate Craig will come on in, and he's going to be in the hot seat today, Slee.
$60,000 bonus from ESPN and Good Karma for bronze. So just imagine the amount of money Trav got.
Yeah. I got a medal made out of cardboard that had
It was yellow, not even gold.
Yeah, it was yellow. It was like the color of a canary.
That's awesome.
Hey, the silver one was silver. The yellow one.
The silver one looked clean. The gold one, I'm like, guys, don't get yellow paper.
It did look
Why
a little
are you getting
janky.
yellow paper?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
And then you guys leave and they're like, oh, they didn't even take their medals. Well, yeah.
It's yellow cardboard.
Okay, I will say this when we were walking away, like, I did give mine back. I didn't know what they thought I was going to do with it. Like, was I going to drive home with it and then, like, get home and
put on LeBron right there?
Put it on top of something else?
You hang it over like a lamp in your bedroom as motivation for 4 years from now when you run it back, when the office games come to 2028 and we do it again?
I just come in here in a month.
Travis said I was competing against a bunch of chumps.
Well, look, here's the thing. If there's a competition and I win, the field was not strong, right? That's just kind of a general.
That's fair.
Yeah, if I'm on the right side of a thing, then the field was not strong
I
at
have
all.
a splint here on one of my fingers from just practicing.
You got to put it on the long, flat side.
Never seen that before in my life.
Bang. Yeah, it makes a big difference.
And of course, I went first, and then after, you're like, yeah, I would have done it this way. I'm like, thanks, bro.
And then I had one the length of the table after that.
Yeah.
I had a nice long one. I was off my game. I think Mace intimidated me during the kickoff.
You know, I have the actual Ficky football. And
Yeah,
the
with
board
the
and
plastic.
That used to be fun.
I have the actual thing.
Super fun.
Yeah.
Did you ever play the one in? Do girls do this, Em? Do girls play the little games in like class where you just flick a piece of paper back and forth all day?
At the edge?
No, we pay attention in class.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I was asking.
Or we pass notes.
Because we don't.
We pass notes and gossip as the other thing.
Yeah, we not. The boys were not really note passers, but Jorge, you nailed it. So you basically fold it up into that little triangle football thing. And Slee, you and I would be sitting here, and you get 3 tries to knock it across the table and have a piece of it hang off the edge without falling off the edge. If it falls off, I get the ball, and I get to go back your way. If I come up short, then that's where you start from to come back the other way. And I think I spent most of 5th and 6th grade doing that.
I showed Mike to that.
Women are just better than us, bro. They pay attention.
No.
How about during the earthquake?
No.
Where she just like instantly survival mode went under the table. All of us were like, man, they shady. These could fall at any time.
I had an entire notebook filled with stats from myself and Bob Perez of who was leading, of who had won the most recent title, and we would go back and forth the entire time.
Well, I had like a notebook of me and my friend that we would pass back and forth, but we would just like be writing like diary or like gossip stuff. So I don't know what's better for either of us in the long run. I think yours is a little less harmless than me writing mean things about people, but
we would say mean things to each other, but we would then play flick football for several. Hey, when you want to come over after school? It was only fun in school. Like you'd try to recreate it later. You're like, well, this kind of sucks.
The straw, you take the paper and the spit water or whatever.
Oh yeah, I never liked. That's kind of grody. I never really liked that game.
Especially if you had glasses, you would aim for the glasses.
What are we gonna get?
Sometimes you get
splat and makes that sound.
Yep. Sometimes you get hit in the back of the neck out of nowhere.
Nasty. That's nasty. What does Walker Buehler do today? He's back for the first time in a while. Keep in mind, 2 years basically of not pitching in the big leagues. Came back, struggled, went to a private pitching instructor in collaboration with the Dodgers, but was not with the team for a period of time. Tried to get sorted out doing that. Went to the minor leagues to rehabilitate / try to figure some stuff out. And it was at best a mixed bag. His most recent start was pretty good, but some other ones were not. And now he's coming in to pitch against the Brewers today. Dodgers looking to win their third game of this series. And I think, not unlike what you were talking about with Kershaw the other day, Al, this is kind of I think I'm going to be a little bit more surprised if he pitches well than if he struggles.
Yeah, listen, I think with Walker Buehler, there's no idea of what you think he's going to do. I know this year so far he's 1-4. I know he's got close to a 6 ERA in 6 games that he's pitched. I think for the Dodgers, there's 2 ways to look at it if you're a Dodger fan. You're obviously just looking at this season and can Walker Buehler find a way to contribute. But if I take a step back for a quick second on Walker Buehler is also, if you've been rooting for the Dodgers and you think about the history Walker Buehler has with the Dodgers. This is a very critical stretch for him personally as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's done after this year.
He's a free agent.
He's a free agent after this year. If he struggles in this next month and a half, not to say that he's not going to get a contract, but think about what he walks into going into next season. This is such a critical time for him, not just
Blake
because...
Snell had a hard time finding a gig off a Cy Young season.
Right. He couldn't get a long-term deal
Jordan
or whatever
Montgomery
the case
too.
is.
Yeah.
That's right. And listen, I don't know it was the market, this, that, but you're right. That's exactly what happened. And the reason why I set it up that way is because he's got such incredible memories with the Dodgers and was such a key piece.
For sure.
And here he is on August 14th, not trying to save his career, but this is a critical stage. These next 3, 4, 5 starts will mean a lot for him, and of course will mean a lot for the Dodgers in the process.
Yeah, look,
I'm not expecting much. It would be my answer of what he does tonight.
I think whatever happens to him long term is of concern to him, right? And that what his marketing or what his contract opportunities might look like at the end of the year are probably on his mind for sure, his agent's mind, his family's mind, all of those things. I don't think the Dodgers could give a damn. They need to get to the finish line this year. They are desperate to find pitching. They're wherever it comes from, great. If it comes from somebody that they do have a history with, like you're talking about, somebody that did help them win a World Series in 2020, somebody who did take the ball in game 163 against Colorado a few years ago, who has been a really effective guy for them for the vast majority of his career, great. If it comes from Justin Robleski, also fine. And if it means that Walker Buehler is not being used and that might be even more detrimental to his long-term prospects, I don't think they care. It's
not their job to care.
Right.
You're right about that. But I think Walker Buehler is a different name than a lot of these other pitchers.
It is, but had they been flush with arms and opportunities, then it's like, yeah, cool. Let's be a little bit more strategic with him. We're still going to be okay. We're not in a division race. We're not this, that. We're not in a race for the top record in the National League. All of these sorts of things, they just need somebody to step up. And if he doesn't, they're not going to continue to run him out there. I can't imagine that from now, unless something very strange happens, like the Padres and Diamondbacks both just crater, which is unlikely.
Or they play 500 the rest of the way.
Right.
Dodgers continue to play well.
And if Dodgers can all of a sudden, we're back up to that 7-8 game lead like we're accustomed to seeing, then maybe it's a little bit. But from here to the end of the line, it is going to be a results-driven business. And by the way, okay, sure. I think that there's been so clearly when, what was it, a month ago? We talked about where Dave Roberts was talking about Gavin Lux. And hey, listen, it doesn't, because when they're talking about when Mookie comes back, how the pieces on the infield move. And it felt like at the time that Gavin Lux being the odd man out was a real possibility. And when Roberts was asked about that, he said, I'm not going to put anybody's name in there because I don't want to put any additional pressure on him, but let's just say it's going to come down to performance.
Results driven.
Dude took off. Mm-hmm. He's been really good since then. They didn't mess around by putting Mookie back at shortstop. Before they just go back to right field. We'll deal with infield next season or at some point. They are not trying to massage these things anymore. They got to get to the finish line.
Well, they shouldn't. I think sometimes an approach, and I think Dave Roberts has the stigma of being, Chris always said, nice guy Dave, right? All right, I'm sure he gets along with a lot of the players. I'm sure that many people think, we've said this before, if the Dodgers decided to fire Dave Roberts, it'd be a nice handful of teams that would say, hey, we'd love to have you here.
No doubt.
But if there is a hole in Dave Roberts or let's try something a little different, this organization, there's a few organizations that are out there in their current state, how much they're spending, what they look like, the amount of success they have, the failures in the playoffs where it's basically you got to win the whole thing or nothing. Sometimes your approach can change as well. We talked about this over the last couple of weeks, 2 weeks to a month. There have been some quotes that came from Dave Roberts. I'm like, this dude's feeling the pressure. How's he not feeling the pressure? You could tell just based on his reaction, the way the Dodgers, what month was it where it was the first time they were below 500?
Yeah, July,
since April 2018, whenever it was, right? So this is just more recent. I think it's a smart approach to take, whether that's for Walker Buehler or Gavin Lux or go down the list or
Chris Taylor,
Kike
Hernandez.
Go down the list
all
of
them.
Gavin Stone, and I know Stone had a good way. But for all these players, you've reached a point with the Dodgers, it's like if you're performing, you're probably going to get a shot. If you're not performing, I don't have time. It's nothing personal. It's just
we
business.
had our time.
And that's
The time was June and July. The time was June and July to say, okay, let's see what it looks like. We got an 8-game lead. The time
you could say April to July.
Yeah, true. That there's been plenty of time to evaluate, but the Padres and the Diamondbacks have won 19 of 23, something crazy. The Padres
There's
have
a
lost.
stupid stat.
The Padres have lost twice since the All-Star break. I mean, that's unbelievable. They're just ripping games off left and right. Depending on if you're a Dodger fan that feels good, you could say the Padres haven't lost in a month and they're still not in first place.
Sure.
The other side is the Dodgers have gone through the meat of this very challenging schedule. So far, so good. Looked pretty good doing it, and they haven't created much space to speak of. Arizona falls into the same. They're in a weird spot that whatever they get in the playoffs, if they end up fighting tooth and nail, get in, look really sharp. It's, the iron sharpens iron. If they fight tooth and nail and get in and then look like they're just not the team to beat, they lose early. They shot all their bullets during the regular season. It's going to be entirely based on what actually happens, because if anybody kind of knew how this works, but I agree with you, the attitude of it all, like, hey, listen, I don't have time to evaluate Walker Buehler hey, that looks a little better. Hey, that doesn't look very good. Did he pitch well or not? If he pitched well, okay, let's roll it again. If he didn't, do I need to look at Landon Knack, who looked pretty good yesterday? Do you bring Justin Robleski back and look at him in a starting role? Is he a better option? You're going to have to start just making decisions based exclusively on performance and not on reputation and not on what it might look like a year from now.
Can we paint some? We do is coming back. Let's paint a picture where Walker Buehler actually looks really good over his next couple of starts. Let's paint a picture where Kershaw coming off his last performance, which he was really strong as well. I'm curious to get your thoughts on if everything kind of went their way with the arms, what that would look like. We can do that coming up next. Stay right here. Travis and Sliwa Show, 710 ESPN.
There's nothing like NHL hockey, LA Kings hockey on 710 ESPN. Welcome to the family.
Brand new partnership. We're excited to have the Kings right here, the home of the Los Angeles Kings. And Trav, now I just need an invitation to go catch a game.
You have been giving you one forever. Now you have to
cross the street. Now it's across the street.
Go Kings, go.
Go Kings, go.
The Kings are back on 710 ESPN. Believe it or not, I did pregame for the Kings 25 years ago. Damn, I'm old. Luke Robitaille, the rest of the Kings organization couldn't be more excited. Go Kings, go.
Go Kings, go. Nothing like live hockey. Nothing like seeing it in person. Nothing like watching it on TV. Nothing like listening to it on the radio. And we've got them on ESPN LA. Go Kings, go.
We're so excited. The LA Kings have found a new home right here on 710 ESPN. Can't wait to see you on the ice.
I want to congratulate the LA Kings. You are now on the greatest sports radio station in America, 710. And guess what? Now I get to be one of the ice girls at a Kings game. Go Kings, go. Go Kings, go. Go Kings, go.
Heating Plumbing Company of SoCal sports fans. That's right. NextGen is the absolute best in the biz and has thousands of 5-star reviews online to prove it. And right now, you can get an $88 drain cleaning, and they'll add in a free plumbing camera inspection. So if you're sick of dealing with a slow drain, just call NextGen at 833-3-NEXTGEN. That's 833-3-NEXGEN. NextGen includes water, plumbing, heater, and AC safety inspections. Prioritize the safety of your loved ones at home. NextGen is the only name you need to remember for a safe and comfy home. And if you're concerned about the air quality in your home as well or have allergy problems, call NextGen and breathe easy with indoor air quality solutions to fit any budget. So call them at 833-3-NEXTGEN. That's 833-3-NEXGEN, or visit them online at nextgenairandplumbing.com to schedule your appointment today.
NEXGEN, call 833-3-NEXTGEN.
Something amazing is happening in business. More companies are turning to Mac. From finance to fulfillment, CDW will seamlessly support Mac integration into your organization. With the power of Apple Silicon, best-in-class security, and compatibility across your favorite apps, your team will have the performance they need and the tools they love. Make amazing happen. Mac and CDW. Learn more at cdw.com/apple.
When you were young, all you wanted in the summer was an ice cream truck to roll by. Now, you just can't wait for the Harbor Freight parking lot sale to roll around. And it'll be here this weekend. Maybe you're looking to fill up that tool chest. Maybe you're looking for a tool chest to fill up. You'll save money either way. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight. Valid until August 18th, 2024. While supplies last. Limitations apply.
This is the Mid-Morning Spectacular live from LA Live. Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
Jorge, do you have to pick up your children today, or am I from school?
This week is, the first week of school is kind of where they figure things out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's unfortunate. I mean, I'm happy that you're a good father and you get to spend time with your children. That's good. That's
I like how he started with.
I'm looking for a partner in crime today. Is what I'm looking
that's
for.
Unfortunate.
I'm going to the Northgate Mercado today in Costa Mesa.
Very nice.
That's your new spot, right?
I haven't been since I went.
Watch party.
Mexico.
For the watch party since the Copa, Mexico, Ecuador.
Team.
Yes, El Tri.
That's right.
And I'm going back today. I texted Susan this morning. I'm like, hey, you feeling a little ceviche for dinner tonight?
That's
She's like,
right.
yeah. And so I'm swinging through, and I'm going to get ceviche and the chips and probably buy a couple avocados and things and all that stuff. But I'm also going to load up for the week and the weekend.
Good. Yes, that's the way to do it.
You aren't interested? You can't make it today?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to go right after the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, right after the show, I have to be at school.
Slee, you want to make a 40-mile trip to a fancy grocery store with me?
If I was heading down to San Diego, I'm in.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah. Emily, I'd ask you, but you never want to spend time with me, so I'm just going to skip over you.
No, I'm not available. So what's your routine when you get in there? So what do you go first? Do you take a look at everything first?
Great question. I'm going to do a lap to kind of get the lay of the land, and then I will very methodically go through and purchase the things that I want afterwards.
Will you be getting lunch there as well in addition to your grocery store? So what are you thinking you went for lunch? Or you're going to let it surprise you?
I'm going to get ceviche for lunch as well. I'm going all in. Maybe I'll get a different type for lunch than we're going to have for dinner. Susan prefers the shrimp one, so maybe we'll do the
certain
fish
people
one?
like when they get ready for a big moment.
Yeah.
They could have, we'll use the Olympics as an example, right? You see the facial expression on people's face. Some of them are really excited. Some of them will even smile when the camera comes by. Some of them will have a look on their face that's so serious. Why do I see you walking around that place with all the options, ceviche, stone cold face?
Because it's
no one
important to
can
me.
really, like, some people are like, don't make eye contact
You
with
got to
them.
buy the chorizo. Oh, dude, you got to take some.
Done.
Take some, yeah.
I don't know if you can read that from where you are. 6:37 this morning, I texted Susan, you want ceviche from Northgate Mercado?
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
I woke up in a very singular mood today. I don't.
Did you dream of ceviche?
No. Here. Okay, I think I know. If I'm trying to put, I did not have enough to eat yesterday, so I woke up really hungry. And then when I was driving to work this morning, I saw the exit where I'm like, ooh, yeah, we're going to do that.
I felt the same way. I also woke up very hungry. I didn't have enough protein, I guess, yesterday because all I wanted to do after I ate my dinner was to eat more food and in terms of have dessert and everything. But I had to just put myself to bed and be like, I don't need food. And I woke up this morning and was like, I'm going to go to the bagel broker because that's where I go in to get my bagel.
But that's normal.
shop.
Yeah, you got a bagel. That's what you were thinking of that early in the morning. He's
Yes.
thinking of shrimp ceviche at 6:37.
That's
37.
true. It's a little different than having a bagel, but I needed to get something. I didn't want to make my
scoop
food.
it and stuff it with ceviche.
So next week, I need a partner in crime to go to the Piñata District.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I could get that grill.
And I can get my piñata.
Oh, yeah. You guys should do that.
Okay, let's pick a day.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Okay.
What
Next
grill are you
Wednesday.
talking about?
I want the one that the taco guy has.
Yeah.
I want the
Because
one that's got the dome in the middle, that's got the corners that collect the oil, and you can keep the tortillas warm. The onions are like when you cook the meat, you slide it off, you chop it up on
And
the.
you want to reheat it, you dip it back in the oil. and
Yes.
yeah.
I want one of those.
Thing's OG.
And they're not super expensive.
They're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hook up the propane tank. I'll be
get that. You could also get a couple full suits with socks. And
no, this is different. This is a different area.
The whole thing, man.
the suits,
jewelry.
The suits in a different district.
Okay,
the Piñata district, there's party supplies and stuff.
That's great.
Also, another question, Travis. Do you ever get swayed by a sale? So you're like, hey, I wasn't thinking about getting this, therefore, but it's on sale, I'm going to get this?
Isn't that the girl math that we were talking about?
Because
I don't either.
I'm a no to answer your question, but if Susan sees something on sale, she will buy it. Dog food. We don't have a dog.
What if a dog comes by?
Yeah.
What if we have a stray dog that
two
comes
for
to our
one?
front?
Two for one. Yep. But we don't need the one.
Okay, but what if it's something that you like? So what if it's something like, I don't know.
I might buy more of a thing I was planning on buying
Yeah.
if it's on sale. For instance, if I
like Tapatio.
Yeah, again, you don't need
Yes.
Tapatio. You're full on Tapatio, but
Got
you'll
two of
get
them
more
now.
Tapatio because you'll use it.
No. If I was full up on Tapatio, which I am, and I went to the store and they were having a BOGO, right? Buy one, get one, but I don't need it, I would not buy it. If I went there to get Tapatio, being short of Tapatio, and it was a BOGO, I might buy more than I was planning on buying just so I can get ahead of the game. But I am focused. Like Slee said, I have a singular purpose when I go there, and I'm knocking out the plan. And today,
Just your facial
ceviche.
expression. I could only just think of the...
And chorizo and probably some produce. And some carta blancas.
That's the cool thing about this Northgate market is because it's like the Mercado, so
It's
you have
super fancy.
so many options of things to do.
You get a michelada while I walk around. We'll
They have
see.
piñatas there. They have candy there.
They have everything.
They have everything. Yeah.
It's like most women at a Target. It's like you at the Mercado.
Yes, that perfect. That's absolutely perfect.
Mexican Cokes for the ceviche, though. You gotta take those.
Oh, what about jarritos?
Oh, that too.
Yeah, that sounds
not
good.
Bad, not bad.
That sounds good. All right, so Buehler pitches well, Kershaw pitches well. That's the scenario that you're playing out?
I think there's such a... I don't want to call it negativity, but there's this pessimism of, well, why would I think Walker Buehler is going to do anything different? Clayton Kershaw over time, how much will you really trust him in a playoff game, postseason game, just based on his age and him trying to get
All
back
of it.
to... I think a lot of that comes into
For
play.
sure.
But let's listen. There's another month and a half before the regular season ends. Kershaw has not... This is what hasn't happened to Kershaw so far. Hey, don't give this guy another start. He's killing the team. That hasn't happened. I mean,
He's looked pretty good the last two
That
starts.
shouldn't be the bar.
Very good, in fact.
But he's also looked pretty damn good. Walker Buehler, let's say this guy gets a couple of starts and kind of similar. Looks pretty good. He looks okay. What do you think that does to this team and just the confidence of giving a chance to not listen? I think we all know that they're going to be one of the few teams that got a real chance to win a World Series. But having those two in your arsenal, how do you think that would change everything?
It gives them real flexibility at the back of the rotation, and that's one part, but even more importantly, it gives them flexibility in the bullpen because you're going to shorten up your rotation in the postseason, right? The Dodgers, if they're going to make a run, it's going to be because Glasnow, Flaherty, and Yamamoto are healthy and performing well. What happens after that, I think, is where your scenario comes in. Does that mean that Kershaw pitches Game 4? It might. Does it mean that Kershaw pitches Game 4 with a really short leash? It might. Because if Buehler, in your scenario, is pitching well, then maybe you flip-flop that and the other one comes in after the other one. Or if one rides, perhaps. What it gives you is if they're both pitching well, and Gavin Stone looks a little bit like he looked last night and not like he'd looked his previous 6 starts where he'd gotten rocked, it allows you to be really quick with the hook and try other guys in situations. And it allows you to not pitch some of those bullpen guys that have been struggling. It gives you a little bit of depth and optionality. But if we're talking about Clayton Kershaw and Walker Buehler pitching in games 2-3, then that's a totally different thing because then your bullpen depth is not an issue.
Something happened.
Yamamoto's probably still down. Glasnow, Flaherty, Yamamoto need to be your guys going into this, and then all the rest of them. We're talking about Knack, you're talking about Robleski, you're talking about Kershaw, you're talking about Buehler. All of a sudden, Stone, that's 5 guys to try to cover 2 games. You got a fighting chance in that situation because the odds are you're going to find somebody that's probably on that day.
Sure.
You know, maybe a couple of guys that are on that day. But if you have to pitch those guys earlier in the series, it's a totally different deal.
See what happens. Yeah, I think the last couple of games have been interesting because we were talking about, all right, well, the Dodgers are going to have to face some good competition. Forget what they did against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is reeling, even though they found a way to win Sunday's game, which I thought was important, the game that went to extra innings. They've looked really good against Milwaukee, dominated them in 2 straight games.
They
dominated them in 2 straight games.
Do you feel differently about Milwaukee all of a sudden?
Yeah, I do.
Me too. Me too.
Because I think walking in, I think I was telling you, I know you're keeping track of it, but because of the shifting going on in the NL right now, and I know for me, being a Padres fan, I got to watch all these teams. Milwaukee was balling, and now all of a sudden they take on the Dodgers, and in 2 straight games, the Dodgers jumped all over them and really gave them no shot. I do look at the Brewers a little bit differently.
Talk about this coming up maybe at 11 o'clock or so, that Mookie going back to the outfield feels like it's changed so much. It's just like, oh, yeah, this is how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to have firepower like that in those corner outfielder positions. You're supposed to be pretty confident that if a ground ball's hit the shortstop, it's going to get played appropriately, that lineup is so much deeper that all of a sudden it's not just Ohtani and Freddie, it's Ohtani and Freddie and Teoscar.
Lux.
Will Smith got hot.
Yeah,
Lux
that's
is
right.
hot. It's like all of a sudden these things are that lineup is starting to get that depth that it had early in the season.
Look how quick everything changes.
I know.
But just think about it. Like,
their problem's still their problem.
Which is okay to point out, but a week ago we were sitting here having a conversation, and it was like, and it's not like they've gone, and it would be maybe a little bit different if Arizona and San Diego went on a 3-game losing streak, and all of a sudden that division was back up to 6 or something along that hasn't happened. So they still, each one of these games matter, but really the worst game they've played over the last, let's call it 7-8 days, was the game against Philly that came down to an ump making a bad call at third. But since then, I mean, they've been playing some really good ball.
They've been good, and they've been pitching better. And starting pitching has been better. The bullpen has been better. Getting Mookie back. Think about it. They added an MVP. It's not like they got a guy back. It's our starting right fielder. They didn't get Jason Hayward back, with all due respect to Jason Hayward. It's Mookie Betts.
And what's Mookie? Mookie in what? These 2 games he's been back, I think, has 4 hits.
Yeah, and made lines. 2 plays in the outfield that were Gold Glove caliber plays. It's just that's where he should be. He's tremendous at that, where he's just okay at the other spots. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but they finally got it right. Ask Corporate Greg coming up next. All of your bronze medal questions answered straight ahead. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN. You know what else I had a good day with yesterday too, Slee?
What's that?
Prize Picks. My Prize Picks selection, my season long. We still
if
got
you've been
42
listening to
games
us,
to go.
you know that Trav's been plays a long game here.
So you know that Prize Picks is you pick more, you pick less. Well, at the beginning of the season, I picked more on Shohei Ohtani's home runs, only 3 more to go. I picked more on Aaron Judge's home runs, only 3 more to go. And I picked more on Juan Soto's home runs, 6 more to go, but I'm almost there. That's Prize Picks.
Yesterday.
It helped. Pick more, pick less. You can turn $10 into $1,000.
All right, I'm doing more of night-to-night action. Tonight, you got Jordan Montgomery pitching tonight, basically more or less on 5 strikeouts. Yordan Alvarez of the Houston Astros, more or less than on 1.5 total bases. That's all you got to do. Takes about 60 seconds to submit your entry. It doesn't have to be your team. You could really have action on any games that are out there. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use our code 710. If you use that code 710, you get that first deposit match of up to $100. Put $100 in there. Put $50 in there. Put $10 in there. It doesn't matter. They'll match your first deposit. Code 710 on Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
Hey, ESPN LA listeners, it's John Ireland. You want to play golf with me and corporate Greg Bergman? You can, thanks to Terranea. If you listen to the show, you know Terranea is my favorite place in the world. It's like going to Hawaii without getting on a plane. Well, you can play golf with Bergman and I at the links at Terranea, and then we'll buy you lunch. Here's how you win. Send a video of your golf swing to @ESPN Los Angeles on Instagram or on Twitter. We'll take a look at your golf swing. If you impress us, you'll be playing golf at Terranea with me and Bergman, and then we'll buy you lunch. And you can all you can eat, all you can drink. We don't care. We're not paying.
Call Jacob.
Hey, it's Mace. Let's talk about trust and respect. Respect is a word that follows Jacob Emrani everywhere he goes. Over 27 years, Jacob has built a legacy of trust and respect. The insurance companies and attorneys respect your case when they see Jacob's name on it. After an accident, you can trust Jacob. Your case will get the respect it deserves. So call Jacob, 844-24-JACOB, or go to calljacob.com. That's calljacob.com.
Call Jacob.
Hey everybody, Alan Sliwa here. Join the club at Pechanga Resort Casino. New club members who sign up receive a $25 resort credit, as well as a chance to win a $100 bonus credit. Enjoy perks like earning club dollars with every bet, invitations to exclusive promotions and events, and much more. Visit the club at Pechanga to sign up and start receiving benefits right away. Your perfect entertainment, resort, and casino accommodation is always available at Pechanga, voted the best Southern California casino.
I can't believe tax season is here already. Look at all this info I have to enter.
Phil's small accounting firm is growing in numbers.
Why didn't I take that typing class in high school?
A data entry specialist could really help him in a crunch.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
And it is Travis and Sliwa. It's time, like we do every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10:45. Let's get to it. Ask Slee right now.
877-710-ESPN. That's the number if you'd like to do an Ask Greg on the phone, which is where we're going to start. We're going to go to Anaheim and Art with an Ask Greg. What do you got, Art?
Hey, Greg. I just wanted to know, do you think, can you beat Ray Gunn in the Olympics?
Could I beat Ray Gunn? I think I could do pretty well against Ray Gunn. I think that if at anybody here, I think I could have the best chance against Ray Gunn. He's probably a little bit better.
I think you demolish her.
No,
Really?
but it's not going to be.
Yeah. 1 point.
Yeah,
One point
I
and
mean,
you're good.
But it's not going to be memorable unless you're like doing what
I don't know.
Ray Gunn did the whole thing where they stood on her head at one point, so I can't do that.
No, but you can actually dance.
No, that was not dancing.
That was convulsing on the floor.
That might have been that.
Yeah.
Might have been that.
The funniest thing that I saw with that Ray Gunn is that somebody on TikTok actually duplicated what she was doing. So I thought that was pretty amazing.
I've seen many people try to duplicate her act, right? And it went from, oh, that's pretty funny, to, yeah, dude, I've seen it already. Stop. Everyone has tried to be Ray Gunn. Ray Gunn went from, are you seeing this? This is amazing. Oh, that's really funny, to get her out of here.
Okay,
I'm done.
Think of the Olympics for a second. The people that you walked away remembering most of all the competition. You remember the
pole vaulter.
You remember the pole vaulter. You remember the
pistol.
The pistol, and you remember Ray Gunn.
Sure.
Like of all the, and don't get me wrong, I know there's a lot of them. One gold,
the
this
high
and
jump guy
that.
that just didn't go through, just walked through.
Yep.
Went through.
Yep.
But Ray Gunn is kind of like the highlight of
She was also like the
2024
last
Olympics.
day too, which helps.
That helps a lot. You nailed it, Em. How many Ray Gun costumes do you think you're going to see in Halloween?
That was my first thought.
Yeah.
100%. That's the number one costume this year.
All right, here's mine. This is from Daniel Tapia. Is it truly easier to ask for forgiveness or permission? We've all heard it. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than for permission. Is that true?
No, it's much easier to ask for permission. Going up to someone and saying, hey, do you mind if I do this, is way, way easier. Asking for forgiveness is like, oh, man, I screwed up. This is awful. I know it's the best way to do it because then you can get away with a lot more.
You get it done.
Yeah.
If you ask for permission, you might not get to do it. And then if you do it, it's like, I explicitly told you not to do that.
Right.
Whereas if you just do it and they're like, what the hell are you doing? You're like, I had no idea.
It goes both ways.
I'm really sorry.
Asking for permission, just in the context of this question, asking for permission is much, much easier. Asking for forgiveness is very hard to do. Apologizing is hard. But people don't like to apologize at all.
But think about this. You'll get a lot more done by just getting it done before you ask for permission. I think that point is most interesting.
It's true, but doesn't mean it's easier.
Okay, I got
Answering
one here.
the question.
Got one here for Christopher Holmes.
Saw Holmes.
Bergie.
Yeah.
If you stayed in Hawaii.
I did.
What would you be doing for work? You can't say radio. Where would you be living?
I can't say radio. I wasn't radio.
And what would you be into? No, he's saying if you stayed in Hawaii.
And I did not stay in radio, which I was working at a radio station.
Not in radio. You stayed in Hawaii. You lived in what? Where would you be living, and what do you think you'd be doing in Hawaii? Radio is not a part of the mix.
So remember in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, I forget what Paul Rudd's name is.
In the
Kinu,
something like that.
Kunu, dude.
Yeah, Kunu. That's it. Yeah, I think
that
it's
would
Kunu.
very much be my job at this point.
Just
living on the
smoking
beach.
weed every day.
Yeah, smoking weed, living by the beach, just being out on the waves constantly. And just being like,
you got a piece of coral in your leg.
Right. Yeah. That's the guy that I want to be.
I like it.
I would love to be that.
Well, if you're not, you're working in the service industry if you work in Hawaii, right?
Yeah, not be a bartender for sure.
You're
something
working
with the tourism.
in a hotel, in a restaurant. You're working in the service industry almost for sure.
No, most definitely. At one point when I was young and I was two of my friends, we wanted to. It was probably when I was early 20s. We wanted to just move to Hawaii to be bartenders, and I'm sure everybody wanted to do the exact same thing. But we got really, really close to doing it.
Being a bartender's hard work.
I was a bartender, so all three of us were bartenders. So we're like, hey, let's just move to Hawaii and be bartenders.
Do it there.
Yeah. And we got very, very close, but I just got there years later.
Guy that I went to high school with, graduated from high school, moved to Maui, has never come back. He's worked as a waiter since he got over there, and that's 30 years ago. He's the happiest guy I know.
I would also move to. I'd also go to Kauai. I wouldn't go to the Oahu. Because Oahu is Los Angeles on an island. So I want to go to somewhere that's actually Hawaii. And that's Kauai. Yeah.
I got one from Darren Pollock. He asks, are you more of an appetizer guy before the main course or a side dish with the main course kind of guy? So would you rather get, I don't know, your jalapeno poppers or would you rather get like 2 different side dishes for your entree?
No, I'm an appetizer guy. I'm going, most places I go to, I'm just like, give me the chips and guac or the chips and guacamole.
Do you always get the app if it's an option?
I always, my first place I look is at the appetizers. I go off of, if I go at like something that's fishy, like ahi poke or something like that, as an appetizer, I'm going to not do fish for my entree.
Oh, so you mix it up.
So I mix,
Interesting.
I make sure that I look at the
I
appetizers
usually stay
also.
in a lane.
Yeah, so you're all, like fish all the way through.
Like if I'm going to get the poke appetizer, I'm probably going to have fish as an entree.
I want
too.
more variety.
You're going to get the burger, you're going to get the sliders too, right, Trev?
No, that's a little double down that I couldn't do. But maybe a carpaccio or a tartare, maybe that's a good way to start.
Or like a beefy nacho situation.
There you go.
Okay, see, calamari I can't get the ones with the legs. I can eat the circles. I
you
can't
like the rings? You like the body.
I like the
I don't matter.
No.
Throw those over mine. Yeah, throw those over mine.
Everyone else can have those. I'll take the rings.
Jorge.
So from Big E, I hope that fool's feeling better from his leg.
Yeah, his
Yo,
leg got messed
Bergman, how many baseball stadiums have you been to, and which is the best you've visited?
So I went on a trip with my dad in the late 2000s. We went to Wrigley, Fenway, and the old Yankee Stadium. It was the year before Yankee Stadium became the new Yankee Stadium. We also went to the Baseball Hall of Fame. That was the greatest trip that I have ever been on. Period. That was so cool. And my favorite, if I remember correctly, it was a day game in Chicago. So Wrigley Field day game was the coolest thing I've ever been to.
It's a good spot.
Fenway was second because that was just a super cool stadium. We actually got to walk around it beforehand too. And then Yankee Stadium was third. But I love Dodger Stadium so much. But Wrigley Field in a day game. I've also been up in San Francisco. I've been down to San Diego. I've been to Coors Field. Coors Field, by the way,
it's great.
Super cool.
It's great.
Yeah. You can't move your seats, by the way, if there's nobody
I'm
there.
I'm taking Oakland off the board because Oakland.
Yeah.
It's the worst ballpark you've ever been to.
The worst ballpark.
The answer will surprise you.
Worst? Oh, Angel Stadium.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Without question.
It just doesn't make sense.
Isn't it third oldest?
Fenway, Wrigley, Dodger Stadium. I think they're 4th or 5th.
Yeah.
They're 4th or 5th.
But
they're
their
down
water
there,
feature in the back is dumb.
Food's bad.
Food's not
Sideline.
good. Hard to navigate.
You know what sucks? That when you're in the stadium getting food. In many of the places, you can't see the field.
Yeah.
Even if you're blocked off by the concrete wall around it's awful.
If dead center field, they have a really cool area back there that looks directly for it. You can't see anything. There's cameras in front of you. It's impossible.
All right, this one from the Los Manos 661. If you order tacos to go and you're eating them in your car, but your cup of salsa spills in the cup holder.
Oh, that's awful.
You don't have time to go back. Are you going without, or are you dipping your taco in the cup holder?
Okay.
Depends how dirty that place is.
That's a really good question. It really depends on, yes, how dirty your cup holder is, and also how high off of the cup holder is. So if it's just the bottom and I have to dig off the bottom, probably going to let it go.
Yeah.
But if it's lifted up just a little bit, I'm dipping inside
that top layer.
The exact right answer. I can't even tell you.
Get that top layer.
I'm absolutely dipping into
just the top.
Right, because that's all good up there.
Because at the bottom, that's where
There's
the
hair,
coffee is
there's-
spilled.
yeah,
There's hair.
there's-
There's just stuff at the
like
bottom.
Crumbs of something.
Yeah, there's
a whole-
coins. There's
bad
bad
stuff, down
stuff
there.
at the
I said
bottom.
Stuff, but
Yes.
like, you can dip off the top. That's absolutely okay.
That
Yes.
is terrific.
And I'm not letting good salsa just go to waste.
No, and at the top, it's still
It's all
okay.
there. It's totally
It's
fine.
okay. That French fry that fell between your seats didn't sit at the very bottom.
Exactly.
You're good to go.
Exactly.
You got a good. All right. Let's see here. One more. Capitano Matt. When you're, well, this is very delicately phrased.
Okay.
When your undergarments are riding up,
Yeah.
do you discreetly tug away at your pants or just reach back and pull?
Look, I think we realize at this point that I really have no shame. I don't really care. Like, I'm pulling it out.
Yes.
It's annoying. It's stuck in there. You want to reach back.
It's
you wanna pull it
uncomfortable.
out.
Are you giving
Yeah.
a quick little glance
No,
to
I'm
see
just
if
doing it.
anybody's
Just-
around?
If someone says,
quick.
"Hey, what are you doing?" I'd be like, "It was stuck."
I had
What do you
this
want me to do?
a couple days ago going for a walk. I looked behind me. I'm like, anybody right behind me? No? Okay, no.
It's
no.
look.
Everybody does it.
Yes, and everybody's had that.
Yeah.
That I'm in a bad spot. I need to rearrange the stuff, and I need to kind of just go for it.
Walking short, they just like any type of short, they just ride up.
Right,
Yeah.
you have to pull it out. That's just the way it has to be. So no, I'm not discreetly doing anything.
Just go. Just if somebody sees you, go. Shrug your shoulders, like
yeah, that happened.
You're next.
How dare you do that in public? Because it was stuck.
How dare you have uncomfortable situations that you don't rectify? That's what it is. All right. Oh, a surprise guest at Rams training camp today, Em? You going to tell us who it is coming up
Yeah,
next?
a very special person was at Rams training camp.
I'm excited to hear who it is.
Raygun?
It's Travis Lee. Enough with her already. 710 ESPN.
Join your Angels for every Saturday night home game and stay to enjoy
710 ESPN and the all-new ESPN LA app. This fall, the new home of the USC Trojans.
The new home of the USC Trojans.
The Trojans are back.
The USC Trojans play on LA's mega sports station.
That's right. USC football, USC men's basketball, and USC women's basketball are on 710 ESPN coming this fall.
710 ESPN, the new home of the USC Trojans.
Rogers, Alan Sliwa.
Day has the same person dropped off food at your house twice in one day? I don't
Great
know.
question.
Travis and Sliwa.
On 710 ESPN.
All right, so here's the big surprise guest star that was at Rams practice today. Aaron Donald and Andrew Whitworth were both in attendance for today's practice with the Rams. This is a picture tweeted out by Jordan Rodriguez. So what do you make of that, guys? Aaron Donald is not in Pittsburgh. He is here in Los Angeles. He's available. He's at practice. He's talking to the guys. Does this make you more or less likely that he's going to come back?
I got to be honest. I want Aaron Donald there if I think Aaron Donald's going to be playing with the Rams. I think this being around, he still has his locker, hear him on a podcast basically saying, guys, I'm done. It's not in me anymore. And then 1 week into preseason, he's showing up. I think, obviously, the best scenario in all this is Aaron Donald decides, guys, you know what? I know I said I was going to retire, but I want to play football. I still want to play, and I want to play for the Los Angeles Rams. Isn't it? I feel like it's going to be weird for them to be able to turn the page. We talked about this when we were at Rams training camp, 2 weeks ago, whenever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Turning the page on Aaron Donald is only there if Aaron Donald is not talking about returning, if his locker is not existing, and if he's not showing up. I think it's a good sign that he's showing up, but that will make that process a lot more difficult if he's not showing up, if he's not coming back to the Rams at some point to turn the page.
I agree with virtually all of that. I want to add something to it. It's not just that he's there. Look at the dude. He looks like he could play today. Right?
How is his arm that big?
That's what I mean.
His chest.
Yeah. It looks like he is in game-ready condition. This does not look like somebody who has gone into retirement
and lost 30 pounds of muscle.
I mean, Whitworth next to him looks like he's lost the amount of weight you lose when you go into retirement.
Jason Kelsey was talking about this. They were talking about whether or not he could come back.
Yep.
And he goes, I can't come back. He goes, I was already undersized, I think at like 295 is what it is. He's down to like 265 now. He's lost 30 pounds because if you aren't training to be an NFL player, it's impossible to be an NFL player.
Sure.
That looks a lot like an NFL player. That look not only like an NFL player, that looks a lot like Aaron Donald. I think the best thing you said is the more he's around, the more he looks like that, the more that Sean McVay mentions it, the more that Les Snead mentions it, the more that the defensive players mention it, and the more that he has that door, however slightly open it may be, open, it's harder to move beyond like, hey, guys, he's not coming to save us.
Save is the perfect
He's not
word.
coming to, hey, just keep it all close enough so when AD gets here, we got a chance to do it. If he showed up with a little bit of a pot belly, if he showed up and was saying, yeah, guys, I got my kids here with me. We're going to Disneyland later today, and I just want to come by and say hi to some old friends.
Maybe
and I'm not
what's
in shape.
happening because we're not there.
Could be, but he's there in a sleeveless shirt.
Yep.
He looks amazing.
But he is there with Andrew Whitworth, who also did almost the exact same thing that entire year after he retired and was around the team a lot.
Here's the
Is still
difference.
around the team
Here's
a
the
lot,
difference.
and he's there with Andrew.
Here's the difference. Aaron Donald, everybody agrees if he wanted to play another 3, 4, 5 years, like, no problem. And I think Whitworth, at that stage, it was...
He was the oldest player ever to start at left tackle in a Super Bowl.
There's just such a big difference between those two players of where one guy was and where one guy currently is right now. I go back to it. Listen, if Aaron Donald is just... Let's just say he's already 100% convinced himself, I'm never playing in the league again. I don't know how beneficial it is for the Rams to have him hanging around. I don't know how beneficial it is... I don't want to sound like disrespectful to Aaron Donald, but if they're trying to move on from a player that they know if he decided he was going to come back, they know his impact, they know what he could do for that defense, they know what he could do for that team, they know what he could do for that locker room, I hope he's hanging around because there is some interest still.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I would love to see him come back. And to your point, Al, and I think you've been on this from the beginning, the longer this conversation has oxygen, I think the more detrimental it is to the team if, in fact, he never ends up coming back. If he does decide to,
then it doesn't matter.
Then it doesn't matter as much.
Matter.
But if we get through half the season, a third of the season, a quarter of the season, and the Rams are in it, but maybe not looking as good as you might hope, but there clearly is a problem on the defense and clearly a problem that if it was addressed with a more substantial pass rush or a run stop or whatever it is, the things that Aaron Donald can do, then I think it's going to get louder and louder and louder and ultimately less and less beneficial to the Rams, which is why I think the beginning of this season is really important. The Rams' schedule to start the year is difficult. They open up on the road against, if they're not the favorite in the NFC, they're probably the second pick, the Detroit Lions. Okay, on the road, season opening Sunday night football game. Place we saw what was rocking during the playoffs. So I'd imagine it's going to be wild in there again.
Sure.
Their second game of the season, also on the road, in division, against an Arizona team that they've had a lot of success with, but Kyler Murray fully healthy, Marvin Harrison Jr. is back. They added him to a team, a second year under their head coach. Maybe they're starting to uptick. And again, it's a road game in your division, always a challenge. Third game, home opener for the Rams against San Francisco, the prohibitive favorite to win the NFC again. Mm-hmm. And then you go on the road for the fourth game of the season, but your third road game out of your first four against a Chicago team that's the number one overall pick at quarterback, that was a pretty good team to begin with. Those first four games, you don't even have to play bad, and you could be 1-3 in those games. And the Aaron Donald conversation, what if they're losing those games 35-31? Well, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden, it's like the defense just has to get a little bit better, and we're in a great spot. And then that Aaron Donald noise gets louder and louder and louder.
Unless, listen, the Aaron Donald noise doesn't have to get louder, louder, and louder. The only way it gets louder and continues to kind of gain some steam is if he's showing up like he did today.
Does he have to slam the door again, though, too? What if his answer is, guys, right now I feel pretty full. I don't want to go through camp. I'm not missing it right now. Like, there's always those little.
I would believe him less by showing up.
As opposed to, guys, there is no circumstances that I'm coming back to play NFL football this year. I'm not coming back. Mm-hmm. I am retired. I am good. I am done.
Because maybe he doesn't know.
I think you're right. And he doesn't want to say it out loud because he may not know. Mm-hmm. And I'm back. I'm back. I went from I think he's coming back to, no, I don't think he's coming back to, I think he's coming back. The Rams?
But this is
they might get Aaron Donald back.
Like, to Alan's point, this is how the players are going to feel.
I know.
Like, they don't know what they're going to get from.
It's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's a little bit. Yeah, I think there's some to that. Listen, I know there's and maybe this is just the Rams. We don't care how this affects our players. We don't care how this affects is the door just cracked open a little bit. We don't care. If he wants to come, if he wants to this, that, even if it gives us a 1% chance of bringing him back, we're going to let him do whatever. However, I don't know how beneficial that is if he's not coming back, right?
But it also could be, a boost for the guys that are trying to replace him in terms of like the multitude of guys that are trying to replace one person. To have Aaron come and give some advice. Look how they're going. Maybe it's Chris Shula needs someone, a second eye to look at how this defense looks and see if I'm seeing the same thing that they are. I think that maybe
might as well
it's just
throw on some shoulder pads and a helmet then.
Get
in there.
See how it feels.
It might just be an Aaron going to kind of give advice, see what this team looks like at this point in time, and maybe give Sean advice, because clearly they're texting a lot and they're staying in touch, and maybe Sean has someone to bounce off ideas. Maybe Sean has another eye.
Okay, and Aaron Donald was never. It wasn't media unfriendly, but Aaron Donald wasn't a media darling either, right? He was kind of just run-of-the-mill media guy. He would do what he was required to do, and that was kind of it. He knows that showing up at this is going to cause buzz.
Sure.
He knows that showing up at this is going to cause what we're doing right now. And you wonder if that's not something that he misses a little bit, just being the center of attention. Who wouldn't? When you're the center of attention all the time and then you're not, that's got to be a little peculiar.
Or you like being at this organization.
Could be that.
The organization was good to him.
All
and
of
seems
these
like
things.
These things are
But all
his
of
friends.
these things push you back towards the idea of playing again.
Right. Rather than, hey, I'm separating myself from it. And by the way, the season hasn't even started. Like, we're literally one preseason game in.
What's more likely? He comes back because the team is mid, bad, or good? Like, what is the thing that if he's kind of on the fence and deciding what he wants to do? Because let's say they do get off to a bad start.
Yeah.
You lose in Detroit on opening night. Not a far-fetched possibility.
No.
You go on the road to
More
Arizona.
likely.
I think that's the one game that I feel pretty confident saying you can put that in the W column. San Francisco, we know what that is. They've struggled with them like crazy. So that's it. That could be a 1-2 start. And then the Bears thing, I think, is a wild card. Almost they could knock the Bears sideways and destroy me. Like, yeah, okay, it's a rookie quarterback. He's struggling. Or that was a pretty good team that just needed a little bit better quarterback play, and all of a sudden they're messing around for a playoff spot. They could be 1-3 and not even play bad. Does that get him off the couch sooner? Do they need to be 10-4 through the first 14 weeks of the season for him to think they got a shot? I don't know which of those is the best scenario.
I think those three scenarios you play out, they're not good. That definitely, I think, churns him away.
What if they're not good for just because the defense at that one spot is what's not happening, was what they can't get fixed.
Just laying out the three, not good, average, and good. Which one gives him the most confidence to come back?
Yeah.
I would say good. You already won a Super Bowl. I mean, you've been in the grind. You were in the grind last year, where all of a sudden you became a playoff team and had a chance to make real noise in the playoffs. Do I want to be a player that comes back just to kind of have that similar team that they had last year? Or do I want to come back because, hey, I think we have a legitimate shot of winning a Super Bowl, and I'm the difference of that?
I think it's the exact opposite. That if they're good, it's like they don't, maybe they not need me, because you always need Aaron Donald, but he does not want to cheat himself of that I just jumped on at the last minute and punched the ticket.
But I'm not saying, but is the scenario you're jumping on at the last minute, or are you 6-7 games in?
No, you're jumping in the last quarter of the season. You're jumping in the last quarter of the season, or maybe halfway.
I still think good.
I don't know. I think if they're losing games because they can't get stops, they can't get to the quarterback, they're scoring points, they're making kicks, they're in all these games, but they just can't get off the field when they need to, he could come in and be a specialist, somebody that plays a limited amount of snaps, and they can't be bad. You can't be 3-9 or something like that. But if you're 4-5, okay. You just need me to play 25 snaps a game?
Can he come back anytime? There's no rules.
They have his rights. He's under contract to the Rams.
And Eric Weddle came on really late.
Yeah.
And again, look at this schedule after the Patriots game on November 17th, November 24th. From then on, it's Saints, Bills, 49ers, Jets, Cardinals, Seahawks. I see it more as I can promise you 3 months. I can promise you 3 months at a couple snaps or however, like a limited snap count.
3 months is a long time.
3 months is a long time, but also that's the end of the season. That's like November on.
Well,
so
I'll tell you this. Whatever my stake was before on whether I thought he was going to come back, him showing up, I think that's very difficult to think,
Let's go.
He's definitely not coming back. No, it only gives you more thought that he would come back.
If he showed up drinking a beer with his gut hanging out of the bottom of his shirt and a big straw hat with his kids in tow, yeah, he ain't coming back.
But it's also not unusual to have alumni of this organization come back and be at training camp.
That look like that?
And it's
I
different.
don't think it did, but I'm just saying.
And I think you agree, for him, this is different. Just because it's him, just because he left where he had plenty more years left in him.
Lots left.
If he shows up in a regular T-shirt, not sleeveless, and maybe some sweats, not looking with shorts and a sleeveless shirt, do you guys think of it that different?
No, because he still looks like he's in incredible shape, with or without.
Right, but say he shows up in a polo,
If it looks like
he's
Jason
going to go golf
Kelce,
maybe, I don't know.
Who right now does look like he's lost a lot of weight.
He's lost 30 pounds.
Yeah, and looks like he doesn't look in NFL.
He doesn't look like he could play in the Aaron Donald. If he put on a uniform and walked out there, you'd be like, yeah, he's been here the entire time. I wouldn't own sleeves if I were Aaron Donald. Raider Rubin writes, what about playing pencils? When you would take your number 2 pencil and whack your friends and try to break it in half. Great game.
Yeah.
Emily, was that a girl thing? You guys ever do that one?
Explain that again.
So you have your pencil. I have my pencil. You hold yours.
Was it like a flick?
Horizontally.
Yeah.
I take mine and I try to pull mine back. It can't break, obviously, but then you kind of flick it and I try to crack yours in half.
No, I've never played that game.
Jorge, you're not.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Pencil fight.
Lost a lot of pencils.
Yeah. You wanted to hit it with that little metal eraser
piece.
thing, so it'd kind of crack, and then you crack.
Once you hear the crack, it's like, oh, I got you on the next one.
Ball game, bro.
Boys are awesome. Dumb and awesome. We'll turn anything into some stupid competition. Somebody in the NBA, or was in the NBA, thinks that J.J. Redick is going to be a good coach. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. We are in the dog days of summer, right? So you might be thinking vacation. You might be thinking a little bit of a road trip. So before you get out on the road for your summer road trip, head in your neighborhood Valvoline Instant Oil Change, home of the 15-minute drive-through oil change, because Valvoline's been taking care of us for over 30 years. They've been providing quick and convenient automotive maintenance services for us, busy people like us, which means we don't have a ton of time, but we do have 15 minutes, and that's what Valvoline does. In, out, and down the road in about 15 minutes. You don't get out of the car. You don't drag the kids out of the car. At Valvoline, you stay in your car, nice and relaxed, chill out, listen to the show. Close your eyes. Read. Whatever you want. That's the whole point. You don't have to do anything but sit in your car while the expert technicians hook you up. Oil changes, tire rotations, transmission care, wipers, and more. Just pull up, drive in, and drive out in about 15 minutes. 80 spots around Southern California ready to help you get your ride ready for the road in no time. To find one of those 80 spots, here's where you go. SoCalOilChange.com to find a location and game-winning coupons off of your next Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
And coming up around 11:30.
ESPN LA listeners, it's John Ireland. You want to play golf with me and corporate Greg Bergman? You can, thanks to Terranea. If you listen to the show, you know Terranea is my favorite place in the world. It's like going to Hawaii without getting on a plane. Well, you can play golf with Bergman and I at the links at Terranea, and then we'll buy you lunch. Here's how you win. Send a video of your golf swing to @ESPN Los Angeles on Instagram or on Twitter. We'll take a look at your golf swing. If you impress us, you'll be playing golf at Terranea with me and Bergman, and then we'll buy you lunch. And you can all you can eat, all you can drink. We don't care. We're not paying.
LA. Hiring the right candidate is hard. ZipRecruiter uses powerful matching technology to quickly find and send you the most qualified people. So it makes finding and hiring your next superstar much easier. This is why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within 1 day. So be like the 3.8 million businesses who have come to ZipRecruiter and sped up their hiring process. Try ZipRecruiter today for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/LA. That's ZipRecruiter.com/LA. One more time, ZipRecruiter.com/LA.
The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event is on now at Cardinale Way Hyundai. Lease a new 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe SC for only $319 a month plus tax for 36 months on approved credit. Plus, get peace of mind driving with America's best warranty, a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty, and the Hyundai Assurance Program. Cardinale Way Hyundai just off the 91 freeway in the Corona Auto Center or CardinaleWayHyundai.com. Lease for $319 plus tax. License and fee to well-qualified buyers. 36-month lease. 12K miles per year. $39.99 due at signing. Not all buyers will qualify. Down payment may be required. Subject to HMF credit approval. Expires 9/03/2024. Experience the Summer Stadium Tour featuring Def Leppard, Journey, and Steve Miller Band at SoFi Stadium on Sunday, August 25th. For a limited time, single suite tickets are available for purchase. Rock out to your favorite bands this summer while enjoying the ultimate premium experience fit for you and your friends. Don't miss Def Leppard, Journey, and Steve Miller Band at SoFi Stadium on August 25th. For more information on tickets and premium suites, visit SoFiStadium.com today.
Okay, raise your hand if you want to make your life a little bit easier. Great. Now raise your other hand if you like to be comfortable. Perfect. Now that you have both hands raised, imagine putting on your shoes. And that, folks, right there is your answer to an easier, more comfortable life. Go hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins. This is footwear you don't need your hands to put on. They can be raised in the air, and you can just step it and go. Why don't you experience what people can't stop talking about? Life-changing Skechers Slip-ins. Get your Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
It's Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa. Travis and Sliwa.
But do you think it's the right move? Do you think it's the right strategy?
No. Live from LA Live on 710 ESPN.
Emily, I was going to tell you something, and I just literally completely blanked on it. What were we talking about during the break?
We were talking about how, I believe...
Aaron Donald.
Yes, and that it's the 8-year anniversary.
Oh, that's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah, so 8 years ago today, Em?
Correct.
So on August 14th, 2016, the Rams held their first game as the Los Angeles Rams in 22 years.
And what, like the first time that football had been in Los Angeles in X amount of years?
22 years.
Yeah.
The Rams and the Raiders left the same year, and 1994. And
when did dumbass Dean come up here?
Same year.
Okay.
It was so weird to have NFL football back all of a sudden. And look, I obviously was a Rams fan as a kid, but when they left, I was like, yeah, see you later. I'm not following you. I'm not going to follow a team from St. Louis. I'm not doing that. So when they came back, I was excited, but I think that the reaction was fairly tepid for most people when the Rams first came back to Los Angeles. They played
hesitation, or what was it? Like
disinterest, not even hesitation, just disinterest and apathy. And they play the Cowboys game one of the preseason.
I remember that.
There are 90,000 people at the Coliseum.
Right.
And Kirk and I were talking about this on Saturday AM or Sunday AM. It was probably 70 or 75,000 Cowboy fans. We did our pregame show
Hey, what's up, home?
out on that grass area. I think it's called Christmas Tree Lane, out by the torch end of the Coliseum.
Peristyle end of
the Coliseum.
Yeah. Yep.
And so we had this cool little setup on the, a stage and everything. We did our show. But we went almost right at the kickoff. So by the time we were done, until the time we got to the press box, we were going to miss the kickoff or the opening drive or, at least the first handful of plays. Kirk and I are walking from the set. We're walking through the media entrance towards the press box. And all of a sudden you hear 75,000 people go, just the place erupts. And Kirk and I look at each other and go, that's not good. Because you knew that the Cowboy fans had drastically outnumbered the Rams fans. The guy housed the opening kickoff of the preseason all the way back for a touchdown. And it's like, that's how we're opening this thing up?
Welcome to LA.
Welcome to LA, that you give up. The opposing team has put 70,000 people in your building and just returned the opening kick for a touchdown. It was surreal.
That's a trip to think about. You're right. The first year of, I remember even kind of leading up. Remember there was a race there between the Raiders and the Chargers trying to go play in Carson.
Yeah.
And then eventually Big Boy Money came in and said, no, we're going to handle this. We're going to handle the way we did. But it's kind of a trip to see it. And listen, I think, obviously the Rams are carving whatever they're carving. There's still going to be challenges. There is. I mean, and you would know it better than I would, but going to games, even a Packer game, they're going to bring their people. Even a Kansas City Chiefs game, they're going to bring their people.
I'm going to save you the time. It's almost everybody. Mm-hmm. There are far fewer. There's only a handful of teams that don't do what you're describing.
It's like Carolina and
Jacksonville. Arizona doesn't really do it. Seattle a little bit, but there are not many of them. That being said, and you're right, there are challenges. But I don't think that you could have asked for them to grow deeper, stronger roots in the time that they've been here than what they have. Because this is year number 9. They've been good for 7 of those 9 years.
They have an identity.
They have a truly difference-making special coach. They have an owner that's committed to winning. They have a management structure that's committed to winning. They built that stadium. They've put a quality product on the field virtually every season. They've been to 2 Super Bowls. They won a Super Bowl. They're in the mix coming into this season. Are they the most popular NFL team in this city? Probably not, if we're being totally honest. But what they've done is extraordinary.
Well,
you could not ask for more. And it'll happen. They will be.
It's the only way it could have got done. Because if Kroenke's coming in here and basically saying, listen, I don't care what the team looks like. I just want that revenue from that stadium. You didn't do that.
No.
Sean McVay, if you didn't hit a home run with your coach and you were recycling through coaches every couple of years, it would look – and listen, there will come a time. There will come a time. This is just in all sports. If Sean McVay decides in however amount of years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever the case is, and they have trouble trying to replace Sean McVay – like, things will happen differently, but I agree with you that if you said you're coming to a city that you were at before, there's incredible amount of competition when it comes to your attention. You're going to have to hit the stadium. You're going to have to hit the ownership. You're going to have to hit with your coach. You're going to have to be competitive. You have to have a quarterback. You have to have an all-time defensive.
What Emily said, and an identity. Their identity is they score a lot of points. They have a coach that likes to light it up. They're
superstars in terms of they like star power, they like celebrities. They like that they have made their best players into celebrities. Aaron Donald, Puka Nacua, Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp. They're all been named superstars.
OBJ. Like, even though he was here for a hot second, they went out and they get Von
Miller.
Yeah, they don't mess around. And if you said all the Rams fans and added up, they're not number one, right? There's just too many people that have rooted for too many teams. It has to cycle through almost an entire generation for this thing to be sticky and have it last, but they've juiced it as much as possibly
their
could.
relationship with LA is these players can show up at a Laker game or a Dodger game and feel accepted, which that's not always the case with some of the other teams in town. Only thing left I'm waiting for Aaron Donald to do is fly with the team in week 1 and just say, oh, no, there's nothing going on here.
I just wanted to see Detroit.
Nothing going on here. I got my kids with me.
They wanted to see the GM museum.
While he's on the plane, he's just doing these
he's doing flies with 85-pound, 100-pound dumbbells.
Nothing to see here, guys.
Yeah.
It's different than if the Rams were playing the Steelers here in Southern California, or if the Steelers are playing them in the regular season and Aaron shows up there, because we know his connection to that. The only reason he would be at the Rams Dallas would be to be there for the Rams.
You know what's funny, I don't think it matters in anything. I think there's, whether it was the Steelers, not the Steelers, there was already some chatter around him.
There's smoke.
He left knowing that he can still do this for a couple more years at an elite level if he wanted to. I think no matter what he does, as long as he's hanging around, it's impossible not to associate.
You said it again right there. You said it last segment, and I think that's the best point. He's still really, really good.
Sure.
And it was, put it to you this way, when he retired at the end of last season or in the offseason, we were all surprised. Because it was, wait, what? Aaron Donald, why? He's still at the peak of his powers. He may not be prime A quadruple plus Aaron Donald, but he's still A plus Aaron Donald. Why would now be the time? You and we watch all the games. We sit next to each other in the press box. We talk about this all the time. There's never been a moment where you and I look at each other and say, is Aaron Donald kind of losing it? Never once. That's why I think you're onto it, Al. It's not just that, hey, is there one last moment, one last shot at this? He's still the best guy at that position in the league. And he's
still
not
getting quadruple teamed.
Yes. And he's not
10th year.
He's not a hindrance. It's not an honorary thing. He's still an all-pro caliber player who's not an older player. Like, it would be one thing if he were doing the LeBron thing. Like, man, I don't know. He's 40 and still doing this. This doesn't even make any sense. We got to start. He was in his 30s, his early 30s.
It's not the best comp, but a couple examples. Imagine Barry Sanders leaving the Detroit Lions, and then that summer, right in August, still hanging out with the team. Imagine Andrew Luck leaving the Colts, and then
and how long did it take for him to be gone before we stopped asking? A few years, right?
Yeah.
A few years.
And he wasn't showing up to Colts training camp every summer.
Have you seen Andrew Luck since?
I have at the Stanford games because he's been on the sideline for Stanford games.
Yeah. I'm hoping that he's coming back. I don't think that he was there to pick out a locker, but that he's around is interesting. Factor Cap is coming up next. Producer M. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
The LA Kings have a new home.
Hear the excitement of Kings hockey this season.
This fall, 710 ESPN and the all-new ESPN LA app is your home for every moment of the Los Angeles Kings.
Hear the excitement of Kings hockey this season in only one place. Easy to access, easy to find, easy to enjoy every Kings game and your favorite Kings podcasts.
710 ESPN and the all-new ESPN LA app.
Get ready for the greatest show on earth. The all-new Ringling. Action-packed fun for the whole family. High-flying acrobats. Somersaulting daredevils. Gravity-defying performers wherever you look. And fun-filled laughter that never stops. Ringling Brothers and Barnum & Bailey. Now playing the LA area. Family-friendly pricing still available. Visit ringling.com for show details and get your tickets today.
When pain keeps you from doing what you love, Hoag Orthopedic Institute gets you back to you. We are ranked number 18 in the nation and number 1 in Orange County for orthopedic and spine care by U.S. News & World Report. From the surf to the green, our world-class doctors are there, which is why more Californians choose Hoag Orthopedic Institute for orthopedic and spine care more than any other hospital. At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, there is no one better at getting you back to you. Proudly founded by premier physicians in partnership with Hoag. Learn more at HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com.
Really excited to see the new schools come into play at the Coliseum. Obviously, you're going to have Notre Dame to finish the season. That's always a special game. But seeing Nebraska showing up, Penn State showing up, LSU at the Collie, that's what I'm really looking forward to.
I think both programs, the men's football program and the men's basketball program, are moving in the right direction. And the women's basketball program at USC is going to be ranked top 5 next year. So it's a great time for the USC Trojans to be back on ESPN LA.
I'm really curious to see, what does USC football look like without Caleb Williams? What are the adjustments that Lincoln Riley makes? And what is the defense going to look like in the non-Alex Grinch era?
New conference, new quarterback, just really fired up on the football side. New head coach for basketball, so almost like a really new team, which is going to be awesome. And then returning to prominence for USC women's basketball, to be back to where USC women's basketball is. I'm super excited to see Juju in her second year, but just the rest of the players continue to grow under Coach Godley.
This beautiful thing has been up since the first time SC was here. But guess what? USC is back! And once again, this means something for us. Pumped for this season. USC Athletics back on 710 ESPN.
The biggest show on the radio, today at 1 p.m.
on 710 ESPN.
And you know what we do each weekday at this time, around 11:30. It is time for Factor Cap. On the Travis and Sliwa Show, presented by the law offices of Joseph S. Normand. Injury attorneys you can trust, just like family, but not familia.
At Normand Legal, you're not just a number. You're a person. You are part of the family. We care for your well-being. You're the number one priority.
213-747-2000. Let's do it. Factor Cap right now.
Oh, that's cap. That's so cap, Dad. Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go back. First of all, it's not a cap. It's no, just it is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hi, guys.
Aloha.
Hi.
Hi. We talked about last segment the opening kickoff of the Rams preseason appearance in Los Angeles in 2016. How it was returned for a kickoff. My story is it was the 2021 season, the one where the Rams went to the Super Bowl. They were playing the Cardinals in the first round, and I leave at the half for all home games because I have to come back here to the studio. So I leave at half, and usually as I'm rounding the corner,
let me know next time. I'll leave with you.
I can still hear the stadium pretty well. I haven't totally gotten to my car yet. So usually that's about when the kickoff happens. And so I hear kickoff, fine. I hear the very first play, and I hear... And that was one time I thought good about it because I knew that it was a Rams thing because the Cardinals were outnumbered.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, that was bringing back memories of that. So I saw this tweet this morning, and it was a quote from Succession. That you're not serious people. Yeah. But it was quote tweeting, coffee shops that open at 8 a.m. need to be so serious, like be so effing for real. Because my statement is, coffee shops should open at 6 a.m. That's when coffee shops should be open because 8 a.m. is too late. Travis, Factor Cap.
Fact. 6 is too late. A coffee, if you're in the business of selling coffee, at the very latest, you need to be open by 5:30. LA starts early. Like I know I'm an early riser.
People do East Coast hours.
That's what I mean. LA is an early starting city, so 6 is the absolute outskirts of when you should be open. 8 is insane.
I'm mostly mad because every coffee shop that's in walking distance to my house and I could park really easily at opens at 8 or later.
That's bonkers.
Burke, what do you think?
It's 100% fact. The fact that they don't open, doesn't open at least by 6 is insane to me. My favorite coffee shop opens at 7 a.m. and it drives me insane because I can't get coffee from there very often. It's especially during the pandemic. I used to walk there in the mornings and would walk back to my house, and it wouldn't open until 7, so I was standing there waiting for them to open. It was awful. 6 o'clock at the latest.
Al?
Cap, 7's good. Yeah, 7 I'm okay.
Why?
This is just a personal thing. I'm not walking into a coffee shop before 7, so 7 is perfect.
You're a bad person.
Oh my gosh.
It's their fault. It's your guys' fault. Have a cup of
being
coffee at
awake.
home. Have a cup of coffee at home.
And I do.
And then when you get to the coffee shop, you could show up.
I would love to get up my business.
I will say this. There are spots. A lot of them are kind of like cafes that will typically open around 7, but they're doing food as well, so they'll stay till like 3 o'clock. They're going to give you breakfast, they're going to give you lunch. But I know because that's more of a food thing. If you're just coffee, yes, you got the early risers, but
it's the equivalent of having a bar that closes at 8 p.m.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like what are you here for?
And that's what makes me mad about this place is that they are only open on weekdays, and I like this place from like 8 a.m. to like 2 p.m.
That's bad.
And you're like, what are we doing here?
kind of baller that they can just go 8 a.m. and still be fine.
I don't normally say this about any Factor Cap because it's our own opinions and all those different. Everybody has different opinions, but Sliwa, you're wrong. Like I don't think
Frog is wrong.
I make my coffee in the morning.
Frog is wrong.
I don't need to be there at 6 a.m. You have to wait till 7.
No.
All right, Jorge, what do you think?
Shout out to Rainbow Donuts. They open at 3 a.m.
Yeah,
and
that's fine.
It's legit. There's
That's
people
great.
there already reading the older people reading the newspaper by 5:30 when you get there.
That'll be me.
There's a donut shop by my school that when I drop her off, sometimes, when I used to drop her off, I could go and get a cup, a donut or something. But whatever.
Donut shops need to be open early too.
Yeah. Any bakery,
Yes.
yeah, get there early. Sorry, guys.
Pan Dulce in Northgate's open by 6, I
Sorry,
think,
guys.
or 7.
All right, so are we all aware of the story of Stuart Little, like the overarching plot of Stuart Little? Do you know
it's
that?
a little mouse, right?
Yes. Is everyone nodding along that it's important for this Factor Cap that you know who Stuart Little is?
It's just a little mouse.
So it's a family goes and they already have a grown human child, George
Probably
Little.
8 or 10, right?
Yeah, 8 or 10. And they go to an orphanage, and instead of getting another human child, they get a mouse.
Stuart.
And they name him Stuart Little, and then Stuart becomes friends with George after some coaxing, because George is a little
They said coke.
You're a little jealous.
Coaxing.
Coking. Right.
coaxing.
It's a different book.
And I mean, he's hearing this mouse
Stuart on
talk.
fire.
Bright
so-
lights, big Stuart Little.
But again, he's like mad. 1, because he has a new sibling, and 2, because his new sibling is a mouse. So we brought this up because we were watching the Little League World
Less
Series.
than Stuart Little.
And Jorge was like, doesn't that kid look a little bit like George Little, who's Stuart Little's brother? So my statement is, you would be offended if you were George Little that your parents went to an orphanage of human children and brought back a mouse. They went to this orphanage because there was a hole in their hearts. They needed another child. They brought back a mouse. You would be offended.
I do.
Very Factor Cap.
It's fact. Like I would be very offended that you're bringing a mouse back after all. If I wanted a brother, I didn't want a little mouse running around. But what was the context? Were you watching Stuart Little yesterday?
No, I explained it as we were watching Little League World Series, and Jorge said that kid looks like George Little. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That makes more sense. All right. Sorry, I was laughing at Travis's jokes. It was very funny.
Al?
Thank you.
Cap, I don't think I'd be offended. No, I mean, listen, it's not the greatest thing in the world.
Your parents brought home a mouse?
Yeah,
This is your brother now?
Parents bring home pets, dogs.
Exactly.
You know,
They're not bringing home a pet. They're bringing home a brother.
Give me your brother.
And they love him more, actually.
He's not.
They care about him more.
If they love him more, that hurts a little. I would appreciate that we have that you still love me more.
Yeah.
He's not going to be in a cage and have the water dripper thing that he can drink out of.
The book is
The
called
little bottle with the little metal thing that you lick that makes the water come out.
The book is also called Stuart Little.
He's living on like a little tiny bed that they made of a matchbox.
No, it's wood chips. that crap at the bottom of the stage.
It's called Stuart Little 2. It's not called The Littles. It's called Stuart Little 2. So you get erased from history. Travis, what do you think?
It's fact that you failed as a child so hard that they decided to go with a rodent in place of another human being. That's how bad of a son that kid is. That they decided, hey, we got a human being, but he kind of sucks. Maybe a mouse will be better. Of course you'd be offended by it.
And a coffee shop open at 7.
Exactly.
Also, the movie version 2 stars that very famous kid actor Jonathan Lipnicki as George Little, and Hugh Laurie is the dad. Honestly, indelible in my brain. Jorge, what do you think?
Hugh Laurie, that's Dr.
That's House.
Yes, House.
Yeah.
Oh, and Michael J. Fox plays Stuart Little, but the voice of
the
Stuart
voice,
Little.
yeah, that's right.
Michael J. Fox was the
I would
best.
tell my parents I wanted a brother, not a support animal.
An emotional support
There
mouse.
You go. So
Get a peacock.
All right, so Aaron Donald has often talked about wanting the round number, the 10 years, the idea of this is a round number. The thing is too that Quentin Tarantino, I brought him up in Factor Cap yesterday, also wants 10 movies. He wants this round number that he thinks every director should have 10 movies. I'm paraphrasing something he said before, but that he wants to stop after 10 because it's a round number. And he's almost like Aaron Donald, where I think after that 10th movie, he's going to come back and, do another movie after that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay to stop at a round number. So you want to wait it out until you're at the 25th year anniversary or the 10-year anniversary. You've been working here for 30 years instead of 32 years. It's okay to wait for that round number. Alan, Factor Cap.
Fact, definitely. I think that's common. I think people use that as like a goal to try to get to. I don't think that's uncommon. I think that's actually kind of cool. If you could hit a number, you're with a company for 10 years, and you decide, you know what, I was going to stop at 9, but I went extra year because I wanted to hit that milestone. I think that's completely okay.
Trev?
I think you do it. I think it's capped because I think you do it until you run out of a passion for whatever you're doing or good ideas. Like Quentin Tarantino's going to make 10 movies. What if he has another? Okay, I've done 10. I got another great idea for a movie, and you still have a passion for making movies. Make an 11th movie. Is it as round as 10? No, right? If it's something that you're just doing to do, sure. I don't think it's a bad idea, but if I am tired of a job at 14 years, I'm not doing one more just to do 15 so I can have 15. I'm not doing it for the money, but I'm not doing it just to get to the round number.
Berg?
So it's fact for me. Yeah, I think part of that, the money, the fact, something that says 10 years, 15 years, 20, 30, whatever it happens to be. Like here at Disney, you get little like statues at 15, 20, 25, and 30. I actually want those statues. So I'll wait till, if I'm at 19 years and I'm like, okay, I'm only 1 year away from that statue, I'm going to wait for that one more year to get the Lion King statue or whatever.
FYI, I think you could buy that on Amazon.
Yeah,
keep that year.
This is free.
Keep that year, and then it's $16.99.
No, but it's free, and I actually earned it.
Jorge?
Cap, because sometimes it doesn't depend on you. Sometimes the company decides, hey, you gotta go, and you're 7 years in, and
they're not waiting.
No
for
choice, you know.
Well,
No.
if it's not
Yeah,
a
but
choice,
obviously
if we
if
get
it's
fired,
you,
that's
yeah.
different.
I'm
for
saying,
being
hold
fired.
on.
You're going to stay married to a woman. It's 13 years, and it's like, I hate her guts, but I'm gonna make the 15, so it's a nice round number.
It happened to George Little. You're 10 years old. We need a little
You
brother.
need to go get a mouse. That mouse lived longer than most mice, by the
for
way.
real.
That he's still knocking around. Also,
And why is he like fully dressed? He has shoes on. He's got the jeans on.
Yeah,
He's in a
red
nice sweater.
chucks.
They probably went to like Ralph Lauren and got a very nice little mouse-sized
Barney's.
mouse
sweater.
little outfit?
Yeah, come on.
I don't know if it's certainly not as popular, but there was Stuart Little. Did you guys ever read Mouse and the Motorcycle?
Oh yeah, I love Mouse and the Motorcycle.
Much better book.
Much better book. I mean, he's riding a motorcycle and
marketing's
like
different,
going
I guess.
through all like
And he
these
had a
different-
ping pong helmet.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was great.
He had a ping pong
Great.
ball cut in half as a
love
helmet.
it.
Absolutely
Absolutely
awesome.
great.
They
I love
failed the
motorcycle.
marketing on the
Mouse on the Motorcycle.
Mouse
Wasn't that a great
100%.
book?
It was. There's a show
what-
on Apple that it used to be on PBS. It was
Mouse
called
and the
Ghost, no, a show called Ghost Rider, and like my daughter used to love it. They did a whole episode about the Mouse on a Motorcycle. I loved that book.
Loved that movie. Our book, too. I don't think they made it into a movie. I think it was just a book.
No, it was just a book. I mean, I think there was a movie in it about it.
Is that the one
Definitely
where the
saw it.
dad died trying to eat an aspirin? I think that's what it was.
It sounds kind of right, but it was
Don't
a great
do
book.
that, Stuart.
All right, Factor Cap, of course, is presented by Normand Legal. You have many choices in legal teams, but family always comes first. We'll throw you out the phone number. It's 213-747-2000. 213-747-2000. If you run into any type of issue, Joseph S. Normand, normandlegal.com.
All right, so we mentioned a second ago, there's at least one NBA player that thinks that J.J. Redick is going to do a good job for a specific reason. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
710.
Hey, ESPN LA listeners, it's John Ireland. You want to play golf with me and corporate Greg Bergman? You can, thanks to Terranea. If you listen to the show, you know Terranea is my favorite place in the world. It's like going to Hawaii without getting on a plane. Well, you can play golf with Bergman and I at the links at Terranea, and then we'll buy you lunch. Here's how you win. Send a video of your golf swing to @ESPN Los Angeles on Instagram or on Twitter. We'll take a look at your golf swing. If you impress us, you'll be playing golf at Terranea with me and Bergman, and then we'll buy you lunch. And you can eat, all you can drink. We don't care. We're not paying.
For the expert technicians, make sure your ride is in its best. Oil changes, tire rotations, transmission care, and more. Pull up, drive in, and drive out in about 15 minutes. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for locations and game-winning coupons off of your next Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
Escape to paradise at Terranea Resort on the breathtaking Palos Verdes Peninsula. Enjoy 102 acres of oceanfront luxury with panoramic Pacific views. Relax in style with a variety of accommodations from elegant guest rooms to private villas. Indulge at diverse dining venues and rejuvenate at the award-winning spa. Visit Terranea.com to book your stay today. Terranea Resort, luxury on the Southern California coast.
Soak up the summer in style behind the wheel of a brand new Chevy. Check out the totally redesigned 2024 Chevy Traverse, the all-electric Equinox EV, or the groundbreaking Silverado EV. With the widest selection in years, you're sure to find the right car at the right price at George Chevrolet, your 6-time Chevy Dealer of the Year. Visit them today and save on your next vehicle with hot summer offers going on now. That's George Chevrolet off the 91 freeway in Bellflower and online at georgechevy.com. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
This year, Dell Technologies Back to School event is delivering impressive tech with an inspiring purpose. Learn how Dell is helping Computer Aid, whose work is helping solar community hubs with tech and AI literacy skills to empower remote, displaced, or disconnected communities around the world. Help Dell make a difference and shop AI-ready PCs powered by Snapdragon X Series processors at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Beyonce's bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This is the Mid-Morning Spectacular live from LA Live. Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
My new rabbit hole is the cast of Stuart Little, the movie, because, yes, it's voiced by Michael J. Fox, is the Stuart Little character. Jonathan Lipnicki was iconic at his time as a child actor.
And he was the kid from Jerry Maguire.
Yes. And a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the child vampire, that's the one I watched him in. Gina Davis was the mom. Yeah. And then Hugh Laurie was the mouse. Nathan Lane was the evil cat that was chasing after Stuart Little. Like, come on, guys.
That seems like a good role for Nathan Lane.
It is.
Yeah.
He was like, what, was he Timon or is he Pumbaa?
He was one of them.
He was one of them.
He was
anyway.
one of them, yeah. He was the...
Timon.
But Timon was the warthog or the little
the
meerkat?
The meerkat.
Yeah.
Is Timon.
Yeah.
But you should show Maite Stuart Little and show her,
Yeah,
if you act poorly, we're going to get you another mouse.
As a motorcycle person, you should read her Mouse and the Motorcycle.
Okay.
It's terrific.
Yeah.
I don't remember a ton of the books I read as a kid, but I remember that one. It's a hotel mouse that gets not a Hot Wheel, but like a Hot Wheel.
Yeah.
And puts on a ping pong helmet, and if he goes brrr, the motorcycle would actually go. And so he goes on adventures through the hotel.
Is there a film for this? No.
I don't think so.
I just IMDb'd it and it's not there.
Yeah.
Do you ever pop wheelies while you're on a motorcycle?
No, mine was a little different. Mine was
yeah. Yesterday, just some guy just decided
on an e-bike or a motorcycle.
Oh no, a motorcycle.
Ooh.
Yeah, and all he was doing it was really great. There was a kind of an event going on for bikers.
Okay.
That was very close to where we live. And it's because there's a commercial store there, so whatever. It was like a bike night type of thing.
Oh, okay.
It was great. On the one-way street where basically it's all just families and dogs that are going down in a very quiet area of Pasadena, the guy was just popping wheelies, going as fast as he could, and then going the opposite way against the one-way with cars like moving out the way. I'm like, no, this is good. Enjoy yourself.
I was driving home one night on the
Take your time.
freeway, and there was I don't want to say a gang because that has like a negative connotation, but like a gang of motorcycles.
Yeah, motorcycle club, yeah.
But they were not like Harley guys or Hell's Angels. It wasn't those type of. It was like
Biker boys,
motorcycle
like those,
guys. Yes,
yeah, biker boys.
That were on those really fast. This was like in the early 90s, late 80s when everybody was riding ninja motorcycles.
R1s or all
Dude,
that. Yeah.
they're doing wheelies and stunts, like doing handstands on the motorcycle on the freeway going 80 miles an hour.
Good. No, that's a good idea.
Everybody that wasn't one of these guys was like slowing down and moving over. They would put on a motorcycle circus, and it was right here. Now that I think about it, on 10 eastbound, right before you hook that left to go north on 110 through downtown. It was. I'm like, are they shooting a movie? And nobody told us. It was insane.
Wow. So that's the first time you met Jorge.
Yeah.
You don't strike me as like a tricks on the motorcycle.
No. I enjoyed the ride, man. That's it.
Patrick Bev thinks that JJ is going to be a good coach, Slee.
All right,
is that good?
Okay,
I don't think it's bad.
I think this. I think first off, I don't think Patrick Beverley, for somebody who's been in the league as long as he was, who's been coached by as many coaches as he has, I don't think he's going to just say something just to say something. Like I don't think there's
Patrick Beverley.
I don't think there's an angle for Patrick Beverley to say I think JJ Redick is going to be a good coach. I don't think there's an angle for that specifically.
Okay.
Pat Bev's going to say a lot of things
about everything.
But why compliment JJ Redick?
Because somebody will pick it up and talk about it.
Okay, could be that.
Because he can't stop talking about things.
I'll read the quote. Okay. He said, I think he's firm. If you're firm as a coach, you have success. He's talking about the NBA. He doesn't want to make a comparison to Eric Spoelstra, but he makes a comparison to Spo, saying Spo is firm. The way Spo talked to me, he talked to Braun the same way. As in, I'm going to go talk to a role player, I'm going to tell him this, but I also have no problem challenging the star player as well. One of the things Ty Lue was known for when he was in Cleveland, he would call out LeBron James in front of everybody. If Ty Lue was calling out LeBron James in the prime of his prime, I don't care who the hell you are, you're going to listen to Ty Lue because this isn't I'm not going to say this to LeBron. I'm not going to hold him accountable. I'm only going to hold these other players accountable, which I know other coaches do that. Goes on to say something to the effect, a firm coach in the NBA is a successful coach. It's interesting. It's an interesting quote because this isn't Pat Bev making a case. I think he could be good because of X's and O's. I think he could be good because he played in the league for so long that this can happen, that can happen. It's one specific reason why he thinks he would be successful is because he's going to treat all these players the same. I think that's interesting.
It's a good reason. It's the first time I've heard, because the responses to whether J.J. Redick will be a good coach, almost all of them, with the exception of this one, was, let's find out.
He's never done it before.
Might be good.
Coaching
might be a disaster.
In college, coaching and assisting the NBA. He's never done it before.
It was all you are either guessing or wish casting. Yeah, I think he's going to be bad. Why do you think he's going to be bad? Because he's never. Okay, I think he's going to be good. Why? Well, he played. It was speculative. All of it. This is actually interesting because that's one way to do it. I'm going to treat everybody the same. I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to be firm in what it is that I do. Whether that'll work or not, I don't know, but at least he's offering a specific personality trait that he has experienced firsthand, that he has seen work in other places. That's good. Whether that works or not, I have no idea, because I'll go back to another very successful coach, Jimmy Johnson, when he was the coach of the Dallas Cowboys and they won a couple of Super Bowls when he was the head coach. He was talking about, I don't treat everybody the same, and not everybody is the same. I treat everybody fairly, but I don't treat everybody the same. But why would I treat Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin the same way I'm treating the punter?
And I get it.
It's they're not the same guy. They play under different circumstances, different sets of rules, but I'm going to treat everybody fairly. I think Patrick Beverley is a guy that will just talk, but I think he might have stumbled into something. I think that might actually be the first thing I've heard to go, yeah, okay. That may be a good reason, because he has played in the league a long time. And if he's saying this is the way it's got to be because I'm the head coach and this is the way I want it to be, all right. Because I never got the sense that that's what it was with Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham felt like somebody that they were able to manipulate. That, the great example towards the end of last season is we don't know what we're doing on either end. We saw those half-hearted 1-2-3 team things at the end of timeouts where LeBron and AD weren't even listening. They're walking out and LeBron was vetoing things. There did not seem to be the hierarchy of that. It can't be we're doing it like this but if he collaborates with LeBron and holds LeBron responsible, could be onto something.
I think, and I'll go back to it, I think if Coach K says J.J. Redick is going to be successful, I'm going to pay less attention to that. I'm going to pay less attention to that. Even if Patrick Beverley's reasons why he thought J.J. Redick's going to be successful. If he says, guys, come on, this guy's been in the league for a long time. Guys, this guy went to Duke. Okay, well, that doesn't do anything for me. There's a lot of guys that have been in the league for a long time. And, oh, by the way, you know what they ended up doing? They ended up being a coach for 6 or 7 years assistant coach for 6 or 7 years before they became a head coach. I think it's his specific reason of stylistically, I could see this working in the NBA because players respect coaches that do it this way. Now, we could also be sitting in a predicament come December 1st, and players are looking at J.J. Redick. We lost that game because you didn't know what you were doing. You lost that game because lack of experience.
That may happen early. And if it happens early, okay, you hope it doesn't. But if it's as long as it doesn't happen repeatedly, right? To your point, Al, if they blow because they mismanaged timeouts or a challenge or something, it's just simply the function of I've never had to do this before and I botched it. Okay, fine. We all botch things, but if you're botching it the same way a month into the season and 2 months into the season, 3-4 months into the season, then we got a problem. If guys are checking out, he's put together a veteran assistant staff. I think that's going to help a great deal.
Scott Brooks, Nate McMillan, yeah.
There will be mistakes of inexperience that are going to happen for sure. How do you respond to them? Do you keep making the same one? And I think that's what's interesting.
Well, here's the other thing, too. J.J. Redick can have a successful first year as a Lakers head coach. He can. Like, there are certain things that he can do where you walk away saying, hey, I think J.J. Redick's going to be a coach in this league for a while. Mm-hmm. And that could still not mean there was success for the Lakers. It could. Listen, AD and LeBron,
that's a good point,
don't play 70-plus games. LeBron actually kind of showing more and more his age. How about the role players just aren't good enough? How about the Western Conference is too stacked? Is that all on JJ?
No.
That's kind of that's the tough position to be in for JJ is you could actually be, hey, this guy looks like he's going to be a good coach in the NBA and still not have team success the way that you would like to have team success or have a better season than you did when Darvin Ham was there.
Does it look organized? Do they play hard? Is there clear that they're working on something? That we are going to play like this, and they continue to play like that. They continue to move to whatever this is. It can't be, hey, we're going to play like this, and then 2 weeks later, yeah, we're not going to do that. We're going to play like this. Okay, we're going to go back to the first thing. And I'll use Darvin as the example because it's the most recent one. 1 game into the season, they abandoned their LeBron minutes thing, which means either he got steamrolled in the plan or he changed his mind after 1 game, that there clearly was no forethought that went into this, or he had no authority to implement what he wanted to do. It was a disaster.
We want Anthony Davis to take 6 threes a game. What? No, I don't want to keep picking on Darvin Ham, but I think
it's a good example.
Yeah.
It's a good example of the plan seemed to change by the week. That what was the plan in week 1 of October was not the plan by week 1 of November, and December was a third plan, and January was back to plan November, and November was back to plan March. It's like, what are we doing here? And that's when because the players are going to check out, and I think that's what AD was getting at the end. Like, we don't even know what the heck we're doing on either end of the floor. If the players don't have faith that you know what you're doing, they're going to check out.
Especially that caliber of a player who's doing it in a post-game conference of Game 2 of the playoffs.
Major League Baseball has never seen something that Shohei Ohtani has a real chance of pulling off this season. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
I play your perfect combination at Pechanga Resort Casino, Southern California's premier resort casino experience. It's about an hour away from Los Angeles. Do yourself a favor if you're looking for that last-minute trip here before you get ready for summer to end. Kids are getting ready to go back to school. We got you covered. Go book your stay at the best casino resort in Southern California. It's less than an hour. Like I mentioned, world-class resort, exceptional entertainment, dining, spa, and golf. And let's not forget about that round-the-clock gaming excitement. 1,100 hotel rooms and a suite. You got the spa, the golf course, 20 bars and restaurants, and so much more. I'll really, really try to give you firsthand experience. I was there about a month ago. The resort is beautiful. Temecula is amazing, and it's just a couple minutes off the I-15. You could be in a great area. You could be at a world-class resort, and here's how you get your information. Visit pachanga.com or call 888-PACHANGA to book a reservation or to get more information. Also follow them on Instagram, Pachanga Casino, for up-to-the-news minute and information.
LA's mega sports station.
710 ESPN.
Just as every point matters, every detail counts in our meticulously crafted vehicles. Experience luxury at the top of its game. Welcome to Cadillac of Beverly Hills, the #1 Cadillac dealer in the Western region for the 3rd year in a row. Come and check out the incredible selection of new and pre-owned vehicles today at our showroom, 8767 Wilshire Boulevard in Beverly Hills, and at CadillacBeverlyHills.com.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
710 ESPN, your home for the 17-time world champion Lakers.
KSPN Los Angeles, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
It's Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa.
Day has the same person dropped off food at your house twice in one day. I don't know.
Great question.
Travis and Sliwa.
On 710 ESPN.
Emily just sent me the trailer of the Aaron Hernandez FX show that's coming out before too long.
American Sports Story. I said it's all of you guys.
It's interesting. I want to see it. I know that what was funny watching it, Em, is there was, even as it cut, and it looks exciting, it looks glossy, it looks cool. But I'm like, oh, I know it's part of the story they're telling there. I know a part of this. Like, I know that story really, really well, and I'm curious if knowing it will make it less interesting, because we've
OJ
seen
one, yeah.
That's what I mean. The OJ one, I know that story as well as I know most, any story, and I was riveted by it because it was acted well, it was produced well, it was a little weird because of some of the people that were in it, but yeah, I'm in. That looks glossy and fun.
I'm interested to see kind of like the big headline moments. I watched the documentary on Netflix. I know the big moments. I want to see how they dramatize some things that we haven't been able to see. I think that in exactly how do we get from A to B to C, I think it'll be interesting.
Wish these all came out right now.
It'll be in less than a month, or a little over the month.
The reason why I'm saying it, because you're right. There's the got the Aaron Hernandez one. We talked about the Steve McNair doc. We talked
Untold.
about Hope
Those
Solo.
are coming actually next week.
Oh, those are next week?
I think one of them. I think it's next week. Yeah.
I was gonna say this is. I feel like the time to get those FX series, get those out. By the time, and I'm not saying I'm not going to watch it, but by the time we're in mid-September, all the sports are going on.
Yeah, it gets crowded.
I wish that, give me this, and then you and I can sit here and talk about all that. I wish it was a little bit earlier.
I want to see how they handle the aspect of the Patriots and what they knew or did not know. I feel comfortable in my own opinion of what was going on in Florida. I can't prove anything, but the culture that was going down there, I think that it was kind of a culture of almost anything goes, and we'll go from there. The Patriots, I'm not quite as familiar with, and the Belichick of it all, the fact that he is so singular in purpose, that maybe him having a guy that is off the rails, and I was going to say a little bit, but way more than a little bit, maybe he didn't know or maybe he did and didn't care. I'm curious to see how they will portray that.
Yeah, and I think that if we're going to go deep into slotting on the calendar of FX, I think that the FX show likely, I don't know for sure, will premiere on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and that's when you don't have a football on your TV. No basketball yet. It's starting in September 17th. Yes, not yet. I know we can get that conversation we've had many times before, but there's a spot where if you're into football, you don't have football at night, you can have 1 week appointment television. And yes, the first episode of the new season of Untold is on August 20th. Is for the Steve McNair one, will be on Netflix.
That's a good release. Yeah,
that's in 6 days?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's go.
That's a good date-wise for something like that.
I didn't know this. Did you know that no one's ever gone 50-50 in Major League Baseball? 50 homers, 50 steals?
I didn't know it, but I don't think I ever how do I put this? I never really thought that was even possible to begin with, so I never even thought about it.
Yeah. I would have thought...
For those reasons.
When I read it, I'm like, okay, that makes sense, but I would have thought Bonds would have a shot at it, but by the time he was hitting 50 homers, he wasn't running much anymore.
Yeah.
I would have thought that a player like Griffey would have a chance.
Ken Griffey may be the one where body-wise he's still doing both.
But usually by the time that crazy power comes along, you've stopped stealing a bunch of bases. Ohtani had another one last night, and then the night before he hit one and had a steal. As we sit here, what's today? August 14th. Shohei Ohtani's at 37-33. Okay, he's at 30. There's been 6 guys that have 40-40'd, and most of them are the stars that you would think of. It's Canseco, it's Acuna, it's Bonds, it's A-Rod, it's those guys, right? He's on a pace to go 50-45. 50 homers, 45 steals. I know we've talked about this, about how if the Dodgers don't win the World Series, there's nothing that supporting accomplishments that are going to be like, oh, well, at least this happened, right? Shohei Ohtani is very likely to win the MVP in the National League this year. He's a heavy favorite at this point and probably should be. And if they flame out in the wild card round or the first round of the division series, it's like, yeah, great, but that's not why he's here to win another. He's already won 2 MVPs. We know he's awesome.
He picked the Dodgers to win in the playoffs.
For sure. So I'm not saying that would mitigate it, but the first ever 50-50 season. Now he's going to have to pick up the pace with the steals because he's 5 short at the current pace that he's at. Mookie's back, which you're probably not dying to take the bat out of Mookie's hands and him running a whole bunch to try to do that. Because if he does run, you can put Mookie on, but then you got Freddie. There's a chain reaction of events, but I'm not saying it erases a potential early exit, but the first time it's ever happened would be a pretty extraordinary thing for him to just show up in 50-50 this thing out of the gate.
I don't want to – I know what you're saying. I know what you're trying to say, and I don't want to downplay somebody accomplishing a 50-50 in a season. It's incredible. It's insane. But I think he's already done so many stupid things. And the conversation of any of that stuff, when he was with the Angels, I'll go back to what I said it plenty of times before, in a doubleheader. What do you mean you pitched a complete game and then in the nightcap you had 2 home runs? He's already done so many mind-boggling things. It would be just another incredible accomplishment on top of what he's doing. It would be more interesting is not the right way to put it, but I think it would be highlighted different if he did it with the Angels. And I say that because winning's was never in the mix.
Yeah, it's not even in the cards.
Right? It's like never in the mix. I think with the Dodgers, you would try to appreciate it, but at the same time, you just wouldn't be able to appreciate
the failure that the team would be in that scenario.
Yeah.
But never?
Yeah, I know.
Not the second or never. They've been doing this for basically 135 years. Never?
Do you want him to push it if he's close? So say it's like we got 10 games to go.
Yeah.
He needs 8 more steals.
Yeah.
Do you want him to push it?
No.
You just want to let it happen?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I do, but pushing it to me, when you say it, means like put yourself at risk.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't want that to happen.
Do more than you would normally do.
Do more than you would normally do. But if you're telling me that the Dodgers are in a scenario where they've got the division sewn up. Okay? They've got in the scenario that you painted them, they got 10 games to go. They got a 6-game, 7-game lead. They're not going to give it back.
Sure.
And he's 5 steals short. Every time he gets on first base, I kind of want him to see if he can do it. If he's gone, let's say he gets to 50 steals, and he's got 49 bombs. The Dodgers have locked this thing up. You want to give him a day off before the playoffs start?
No.
Or are you running him out there to try to hit 50?
No, I think let him hit 50.
I think so too.
Or you get a Max Muncy situation.
I know. I'm just, if you try to avoid disaster, then you're never going to try anything. But I understand your point. I don't think you push super hard, but I also don't think that you rein him in if there's a chance to do it organically. You know what I mean? 50-50. Who the hell is good enough to hit 50 home runs and fast enough to steal 50 bases. That is stupid. That those two things don't. That goes together almost as poorly as being the best pitcher and the number one slugger. Not quite, but it's speed and power don't go together like that. They're just opposite things typically.
It's kind of funny. As the season has progressed, there's been times where I'm like, I thought Shohei to the Dodgers would be a bigger deal. And then there's been times during the season where I'm like, man, Shohei on the Dodgers is a big deal. You kind of do you see where
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Before the season started and Shohei posted on Instagram that that's it. He's going to be a Los Angeles Dodger. I felt like, oh my gosh, I don't know why I felt this way, but you just kind of felt like every single game is going to be a nationally televised, every this, that. And then there's been kind of some lulls where that hasn't been the case. Yeah. And then there's been some times where I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what I thought.
It's kind of driven by him, right? That when he got off to a little bit of a slow start, it's like, okay, that's kind of weird. And then he got hot, and we're like, okay, Ohtani's awesome again. Great. The expected level of awesome was what you were getting. And then he started nearly hitting the ball out of the stadium. Yep. And you're like, oh, he's going to do it. Like, he was getting closer and closer, and then he just barely missed on that one to center field. Then he cooled off a little bit. And we kind of went, okay, what else is going on out there? And now he's closing in on 50-50. He has a chance. No one's ever hit 50 home runs as a Dodger, ever. He's on pace to hit 50 home runs. Dodgers have been around a long time. They've had a lot of Hall of Fame players. He's going to show up and do something that's never happened in baseball history, potentially. He's going to show up in his very first year and do something that the Dodgers have never done in the history of their organization, have a 50 home run guy. Sean Green has the most ever with 49. In year one? Why not just win the World Series, too, and just have all of those things go down?
Well, August 14th. It's also the furthest that we've paid this much attention to Shohei. Sure. Not to say that there weren't highlights every time, but when Shohei is hitting a home run against the Milwaukee Brewers in mid-August, it's a meaningful game because the Brewers and the Dodgers are right there. You never got that in Anaheim. Yep. So all this is it's a little bit new as well for Shohei because he's playing in games that actually mean something.
All right, so I'm going to try. I don't know if I'm going to be successful, but I'm going to try to talk you into why you should watch the Rams preseason game at 4 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. I'm going to give that a shot coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Mason and Ireland.
I don't understand why people aren't getting this.
I don't understand why people want to go into suck mode. Why go into suck mode before you have to go into suck mode?
The biggest show on the radio, today at 1 p.m.
on 710 ESPN.
Hey, it's Travis.
And Slee. By now you have heard about our good friends at the law office of Joseph S. Normand.
When my son Bobby was in an accident, we called Joe and he hit it out of the park. That's why I trust Joe.
No insurance company is ever on your side. Anything you say to them can and will be used against you. Joe and his team will treat you like family, get you the medical attention you need, and the max compensation you deserve.
Call 213-747-2000. That's 213-747-2000 or visit normandlegal.com.
The law office of Joseph S. Normand.
Football is back, and the 2024 Los Angeles Rams preseason is in full swing. Get ready for an action-packed season as your Rams take on the Niners, Eagles, Dolphins, Raiders, Bills, and more right here at SoFi Stadium. You can experience all the energy and excitement of Rams football by purchasing season tickets at therams.com/2024. Again, that is therams.com/2024 to secure your seats for every Rams regular season home game. Purchase your season tickets today and experience football the Rams way.
Hey guys, it's Sedano here. You know it's hard to find a good dentist for your kids, someone who they can trust and enjoy going to the dentist with. Luckily, we found Children's Dental Fun Zone. With 17 locations across Southern California, Children's Dental Fun Zone specializes in children's dentistry and orthodontics. With state-of-the-art equipment and personal attention your children deserve. To book your child's next appointment, visit their website, cdfzone.com. That's cdfzone.com. Or call them at 800-717-KIDS. That's 800-717-KIDS.
Do you know what brand sells the most work shoes in America? Skechers. Why? Skechers has the best looking safety toe and slip resistant shoes around. They've got
Boom boom down.
I licky boom boom down.
Yeah, that.
No, I don't.
Informer. I don't know what he's saying really fast, but they let me down. Let me boom boom down.
The LA Afternoon Takeover with Sedano and Cap. Today at 4 p.m.
on 710 ESPN. It's Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa. Travis and Sliwa.
But do you think it's the right move? Do you think it's the right strategy?
No. Live from LA Live on 710 ESPN.
You know what I am now, Al?
What are you?
I'm a beach guy. I go to the beach.
You work 20 hours, bro.
Yeah.
You haven't been to the beach.
Huh?
Did you swim in the ocean
I
again?
did. I did. Well, swim is a bit of a reach, but I went in the ocean.
Are you a lifeguard?
No, but I went. Susan and I had a lovely afternoon yesterday.
Okay.
We went for a nice long walk on the beach.
Perfect.
Cooled off in the ocean.
Didn't log it. I didn't get a notification that you did your walk.
You should have.
I didn't get it.
Oh,
what the hell?
Well, if I didn't get credit for that, that is garbage because I did it. Double check. Now I'm curious. Because I think I did it. And then we took the Chevy Silverado from Rotolo Chevrolet right off the 210 freeway, Sierra Avenue exit. Right, RotoloChevrolet.com.
If it's too far?
If it's too far, you can go online. RotoloChevy.com, ROTOLO, RotoloChevy.com, and tell them that Travis sent you.
That's right.
We dropped the tailgate on the Silverado. Put a couple of beach chairs in the back of the truck.
Great.
Brought a little picnic.
That's
Had
great.
a little Silverado picnic in the bed of the truck.
charcuterie?
It was whatever. No, this was probably Albertsons. This looked like a lot of Albertsons items.
So
it was
$200 as opposed to $50.
Costco. We bought the big multi-pack of salmon fillets. We made a little salmon Caesar salad. We had made at home.
Amazing.
Put them in the cooler.
Amazing,
dude.
When's the last time
you did?
When's the last time you did that?
That made the first.
Okay. Please do me a favor. Do that again before the summer's done.
It was wonderful.
That's a great idea.
Susan and I are sitting there and we're like, why haven't we done this before?
Yeah.
This was because we've talked about it literally for years. You know what we should do? We should get a couple of chairs, put them in the back of the truck, and just watch the sun go down. We actually did it yesterday. I'm a beach guy. I'm basically like a native.
Do it as a ceviche next. Ooh, my man.
Good idea.
See? There you go.
Em, did my run log or my walk log or whatever we're talking about? Nothing?
Oh, yeah, it did.
Okay, thank God.
It said run, which isn't true.
It's not a run. It's,
but then
yeah,
that's what
it's
it was.
mislabeled. I concede that it is mislabeled, but
put the ceviche in Tupperware.
Also,
in the cooler?
I know this isn't the Rams, but this is just some weird stuff. The Vikings have had another injury. So Jordan Addison is just put off in a cart.
Oh, no.
Former Trojan, Jordan Addison. They're giving him high fives, pat on the helmet. He's getting carted back. And then, we got the announcement this morning that J.J. McCarthy will miss the entire season with his meniscus. So, I don't know. Are the Vikings cursed somehow? I don't know. But
if you ask
anyway.
a Viking fan, the answer is yes. I mean, they're one of the few remaining teams that's never won the Super Bowl. There's not a ton of those.
Kirk Cousins with Achilles last year when your team was finally looking good. I believe that they've had a history of injuries in the past. But anyway, I just saw that come across my screen.
So I'm going to get an answer to the question that I've been asking for a long time in the NFL. But this is Vikings related and SoCal related simultaneously. I think we're finally getting an answer to whether or not Sam Darnold's any good. Because I obviously, look, guys that do it for a living miss on these guys about half the time. But I really thought Sam Darnold was going to be a good pro because strong arm, highly athletic, accurate, competitive. That seemed like a really good mix to become a good pro quarterback. He goes to the Jets, and it's a complete dud. That's true with everybody that goes to the Jets. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that was more Jets than him. He goes to Carolina. Carolina might be worse than the Jets. Awful, right?
A lot of your success has to do with where you went.
Of course. Goes to San Francisco, who functions at a super high level, but he doesn't get to play because Purdy is great. Purdy plays great, takes his team to the Super Bowl and stays healthy. He never plays. He goes to Minnesota. They draft a quarterback, 8th overall or 9th, whatever it is, 5th. I don't know where they picked him, but in the top 10, they take J.J. McCarthy, and Darnold all of a sudden is like, is he even going to get a chance here? You got a first-round draft pick breathing down your neck. The second you throw an interception, it's, put the kid in. He's going to get a chance to play quarterback on a good team with a coach that functions, that will put him in a position to see if he can actually do this or not. It's fun. It took, how many years has Sam Darnold been in the league? Probably 7 or 8 years at least. And we're finally going to find out whether or not he's good enough to play in the league.
Yeah, he's 27 years old right now. So If there's a time, this is his
right.
This is going to be his window. I've always looked at it and think of the greats in any sport. Okay, and I if Kobe Bryant, and I there's no reason to make a comp of Sam Darnold and Kobe Bryant.
I was curious where this was going.
Just think of, you talked about franchises that are just awful. Is Kobe winning 5 championships with Charlotte?
Who are you asking? Because if you ask Kobe, he
would say
said
9.
Yes.
Kobe would say 9. My point is that your ownership has so much to do with your success. Your team, your coach, your this, your that. I mean, go down the list of this is how important it is to have all these things lined up to be successful. And I think that's a perfect example. Now, whether he could get some opportunities now and be,
if he's bad, it's because he's
bad. Right.
If he plays badly, it's because he's not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is the first real chance we'll get. I'm rooting for him. San Clemente Triton, a USC Trojan. These are all exciting things for me. Speaking of quarterbacks that we don't know if they're good or not.
And injuries that could come out of nowhere.
Absolutely. Stetson Bennett and this is my attempt to talk you into watching Rams-Chargers, 4 o'clock kickoff. Pregame show starts at 2 o'clock with myself, Kirk Morrison, Emily Hebel, and Jorge Briones.
Listen to Kirk's pump-up speech. It was great last week.
It was terrific. He goes Coach Kirk right before we go to the game.
I like that.
He goes into another room to do it, too, because he can't look at me. It's pretty great.
It's like when we record spots.
Yeah. This guy will crack a joke with me, and then he'll say, hey, go ahead and record this now. I'm like, I'm still laughing at your joke.
So Bennett was terrible last week. 4 interceptions. And guys, I get it. He threw a touchdown to win the game. Preseason NFL football is literally the only time where the result doesn't matter. It matters what you look like. It matters whether you're making good decisions, whether or not you can make the throws, not whether you win the game or not. He threw 4 interceptions. Could have been 5, was 5, just one got called back from a penalty. Sean McVay was asked whether or not he's going to be that number 2 quarterback for the first 2 weeks of the season because Garoppolo is being suspended. Quote, we've still got to be able to see more body of work, McVay said, reiterating that while he was impressed with Bennett's resilience, the quarterback needs to take better care of the ball. He's got to continue to improve, and we're still in evaluation mode. You know what I'm hearing? He needs to play well, or I'm going with someone else. Stetson Bennett is older. Stetson Bennett is undersized. Stetson Bennett missed an entire year for personal reasons that he was not around the team, and Stetson Bennett has played bad. Give me the reason why I need to make this happen, right? There isn't like, hey, he's got this huge arm. That's not what he has. Hey, he's big, strong, and fast. That's not who he is. Hey, he's young. He's just getting started. He's 26 years old. Take me. I really do think, and this doesn't happen very often, I think this dude's playing for his career on Saturday, because if he's bad and they decide they have to do something else, they need to get the something else going in week 3 against the Texans, because Matt Stafford's one thumb on a helmet away from being out of a game, and you have to go to your number 2 quarterback.
Obviously, you hope none of this happens. There's a reason why they went out there and got Garoppolo.
Sure.
Not because they had a lot of confidence in Stetson Bennett to begin with. And then you watch them in a preseason game. You know, I think what you just said about what you're looking for in a quarterback that may or may not get an opportunity in a preseason game. You controlling the game. Are you making smart decisions? I don't need you throwing the ball 60 yards down the field. Are you making that right call for a 10-yard quick pass and we got a first down? Little things like that. He threw 4 picks. That's so many picks. And in a preseason game to just kind of, well, it's just preseason. You think Sean McVay is looking at the game like it's just preseason? I know he's not playing all his starters. I know he's not playing a lot of the key players. But he needs to see,
of course,
what guys can I potentially depend on if this doesn't work. If he has another performance like he had on Sunday, let's say it's very similar. He threw for 2 touchdown passes, but he still had 3 picks. I don't. Sean McVay ain't messing around. Like, Sean McVay understands how critical it is, and I know how tough that's going to be if Matthew Stafford's not there for a game or 2, but he also understands that we got to keep our head above water if Stafford's not there and at least give ourselves a fighting chance to win a game. That's an interesting case to make, that if he plays poorly on Saturday, that he might not get that opportunity again for them.
Brett Rippon, as bad as he was in that game, you and I always talk about it. The Packers and the Rams last season, it was week 9 for the Rams. Stafford did not play. Rippon plays. And it was about as bad of an NFL football game as you're going to see. On both sides. Packers played terribly too. The Rams, and they immediately went out and signed Carson Wentz after this because Rippon was as bad as he was. The Rams had a chance to win that game in the fourth quarter. And it wasn't because Rippon was good. It's because he didn't throw the ball to the other team 4 times. They didn't do anything offensively, but the defense
at least they punted.
They right. punted the ball to the other end of the field. Yeah. Exactly right. And I think that's what it is. Here's the part about Bennett's performance last week that I think is so detrimental. It wasn't just 4 picks. It was 4 picks under ideal circumstances. The Rams' offensive line on Sunday was the second highest rated offensive line performance by Pro Football Focus or whatever that group is in the whole league. They got excellent mark. They protected him extraordinarily well.
So you can't make an excuse there.
He wasn't under pressure. The Cowboys did not scheme a defense to try to thwart Stetson Bennett. It's the preseason. It's the most vanilla-based stuff that you're going to see. It is just, football 101.
Yeah.
We're running basic stuff, see what you can do. That wasn't an issue. The running game was okay. It wasn't like he wasn't running for his life. If you were going to have success, that's where you would have it. If he threw 4 touchdowns, we'd be saying, hey, listen, hold on a second. The offensive line was under perfect protection. How will he do when there's pressure? Hey, the throws were not on time. But no. Everything was perfect other than his performance in the preseason. And they need a number 2 guy for the first 2 weeks of the season.
I want you to know.
You going to watch?
I think your pitch was good. I think it was good. I appreciate you.
That's all I could hope for.
Well, listen, I sat through the whole presentation.
Okay.
Listen, was part of the reason why I came is because he had the macadamia nut cookies over there.
Gave you a free weekend in the hotel, too.
Yeah, you did all that. Part of the reason why I came. This is what I can promise you. I can't promise you that I'm going to watch at the start of that game. But by Saturday night, I'm going to take a look at the box score.
You know what?
I'll take a look. I'm curious to see how he did.
There better be a 0 in one particular column. There could be 2 zeros. 2 zeros would be satisfactory.
Yeah, 0 touchdown throws and 0 interceptions.
There cannot be something other than a 0 in that second column. That can't happen. Hot and Cold's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Like I was just telling Al a second ago, took the Silverado down to the beach yesterday, dropped the tailgate, put a couple of lawn chairs in the back, and had ourselves a little Silverado picnic along the way. And, of course, the Silverado's from, where else? Rotolo Chevrolet. Why? Because, well, they've got all the Silverados. They've got all the Chevy cars and trucks that you can think of. They've got the make, model, and color that you've been looking at. They've got the pricing that you've been hoping for. And they've got customer service like you've never seen in your entire life. That's why they've won Dealer of the Year 13 years in a row. Do you ever ask yourself what all the fun's about? Why not come down and find out for yourself what all the fun's about? Come down and find out why Mike Capozio's dancing on TV. Come down and find out why they've won Dealer of the Year 13 years in a row. It's because they take care of you. It's because you feel good about it, right? How nice is it when you buy something like, I know I got a great deal. I know it's honest. I know it's upfront. I know it's transparent. And I know everything I need to know. Feels good, right? You ever had that with a car? Probably not unless you've gone to Rotolo Chevrolet. ROTOLO, RotoloChevy.com online. Better yet, go on into the store. Right off the 210 freeway, Sierra Avenue exit, and tell them that Travis sent you.
Mason and Ireland.
By the way, we're the normal ones. Most people do use DVRs.
That seems off.
Brian, do you use a DVR?
I haven't DVR'd anything in like 10 years.
Maybe it's us.
Yeah. Wow. The biggest show on the radio. Next at 1 p.m.
on 710 ESPN.
Get ready for the greatest show on earth. The all-new Ringling. Action-packed fun for the whole family. High-flying acrobats. Somersaulting daredevils. Gravity-defying performers wherever you look. And fun-filled laughter that never stops. Ringling Brothers and Barnum & Bailey. Now playing the LA area. Family-friendly pricing still available. Visit ringling.com for show details and get your tickets today.
Hey kids, Uncle Artie here from Pernia Law, here to tell you about a newer sponsorship deal with Matt Barnes, who has deep LA roots, former Bruin and pro basketball player for both LA teams.
If you're looking for the best possible results after an accident, call my guy, Uncle Artie, at Pernia Law. And there's never any upfront fees. They collect when you collect. And for the record, their win-loss record puts them in the top of the standings. That's 844-DIAL-UNC. That's 844-DIAL UNC.
At Lowe's, we know how to save pros time and money. Save 20% on 1-gallon cans and 5-gallon pails of Valspar Defense or Cabot Stain. Plus, save 15% on your choice of 6 or more Purdy items. And get free same-day delivery to the job site when you order by 2 p.m. Because Lowe's knows pros. Valid through 8/21 while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See store or Lowe's.com for details. Must be single receipt purchase. Delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
When your job demands more than just hard work, trust Timberland Pro, the brand that defines superior comfort, performance, and durability. Built on a legacy of craftsmanship, Timberland Pro provides boots and apparel that stand up to the toughest challenges. Our products are as resilient as the skilled men and women who wear them. From the workshop to the job site, Timberland Pro is there with you every step of the way, blending innovation with time-tested quality. Discover why professionals choose Timberland Pro. Always do, never done. Visit timberlandpro.com or your local Timberland Pro dealer.
And it is Travis and Sliwa. As you know, we've welcomed the new partner here at 710 ESPN, Next Gen. Next Gen, the official AC, heat, and plumbing company of SoCal sports fans.
You're as cold as ice.
Call 833-3-NEXTGEN, NEXGEN, or visit nextgenairandplumbing.com. Time for our feature we do 3 days a week at 12:30 p.m.
Cause you're hot and you're cold.
Who's hot? Who's cold? Thanks to Next Gen. Boy, time for Who's Hot, Who's Cold. Take it away, Producer M.
Aloha.
All right, aloha.
Bonjour.
What's hot still is, the Paris Olympics. Yep. Olympic fever is still sweeping the nation, and maybe, hopefully, will last over into the 2028 LA Olympics. But Dr. Dre was on Entertainment Tonight, and he was talking about how he seriously wants to compete to be an archer at the next Olympics. So this is Dr. Dre talking to E.T.
What are you going to try out for?
Archery.
And you're being serious.
I'm dead ass serious. Yeah.
Okay. So where does this come from? Where did you pick up archery?
I actually started playing around with archery in junior high, right? I stopped for a while and my son bought me a setup. I don't know if it's for my birthday or Father's Day or something like that. So I have it set up in my backyard, and I heard that qualifying for the Olympics is 77 feet, and I practice at 90. Yeah, wouldn't that be interesting to go, especially with it being here in LA and win a gold medal?
If you're the Team USA Olympic Committee, I'm not asking you guys to be Ray Gun here and kind of cheat your way into the Olympics, but would you do everything in your power to make sure Dr. Dre represents Team USA in archery in LA 2028? Travis?
Yeah, assuming he has the basic skill set to compete.
And in the video he shows, he does have skills.
There's a precedent for this. Gina Davis nearly made the Olympic archery team back in 2000. She just missed. And you know, she wasn't quite good enough. But yeah, if there's a way, like, I don't know if you can, I'll steal your joke, Em, to ray gun this whole thing. I don't think you do that. But if he's been shooting arrows since he was in junior high and continues to do it, and I don't know if he's good enough to be an Olympian, but yeah, you don't tell me how you can make archery interesting. Put Dr. Dre in it.
This is the only angle is if this guy just watched it and said, this looks pretty cool. It's different. The fact that he said he has actually done it, and I think he said something like the Olympics is 70-something feet. He's been practicing at 90, so like he's even further back. The only thing I would not want to see, and I know you might not care about this, but the only thing I wouldn't want to see, I know it's going to draw more interest to the sport, but if there's somebody from the United States that's like, no, they're going to get a gold or a silver, and they can't perform now because Dr. Dre's in it, I would rather see them go get the gold or silver.
But that's if it's a guy that might make the team but is unlikely
not going to medal, that's different.
Then I think you just
the number 55 pick.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. It's a good thing for everybody to be involved. And here's my only regret about this story. I saw this morning, and I nearly brought it up a couple of times during the show, and every once in a while I will unknowingly and inadvertently hijack one of Emily's hot or cold topics, and she throws her hands up in disgust. That I didn't get to do that today kind of bums me out.
Sometimes I like to surprise you guys. I don't like to have everything you guys know ahead of time. So I
nearly brought it up 2 different times.
Surprise.
Now I'm bummed that I didn't.
If he doesn't make it to the Olympics, we should have a duo, I guess, whatever you want to call it. Bo Jackson and Dr. Dre.
You've heard that story about Bo Jackson,
Yeah, I mean,
right?
it's in a documentary, the 30 for 30, I think.
Where he would bring a bow into would bring a bow, B-O-W, would bring it into the locker room and launch arrows through the middle of the clubhouse that was wedging the walls, and they'd go whistling by people's heads. And there was like, yeah, it's just Bo, and like he was so good at so many different things, no one was even worried that he might hit somebody.
What do I do with that? That's incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing.
If you had to choose a skill of like a feat of something that again could be used in old-timey warfare, so it's like bow and arrow, being able to shoot a pistol really like accurately, doing the skeet shooting, of all those things, would you want archery to be your
I think being able
set?
to shoot a gun accurately would be the one that I would pick.
Yeah, like the
you could be
cowboy
the
shootouts.
furthest. Yeah, I mean, either that or you got some of these snipers that are that are hundreds of yards
I was going to
away.
say, like the archers, while amazing, they are 70 yards away. That's a long way away, but those guys that can shoot those guns, they can shoot from 1,000 yards out and hit stuff.
Also, one of my biggest bones to pick in like old-timey warfare movies or like even like Hunger Games and stuff is when people are archers, you're going to run out of freaking
arrows.
So do you pull them out of the people? And you don't really see that very often. You honestly never see these people oftentimes run out of arrows. And I feel like that's the biggest plot hole. It's like you're going to run out of more arrows.
Got to be accurate. Right. I mean,
better not miss.
You got to make sure that you're hitting
Cupid.
stuff. Yeah. You're one and done. Wham.
All right, so what's called is October 12th weddings. Okay, so according to the Knot, a survey from the Knot, is that October 12th, at least this year, 2024, is the most popular date for weddings. And it's cold only because here is the college football slate on October 12th. Ohio State at Oregon.
Good game.
Texas at Oklahoma.
Great game.
Ole Miss at LSU. And Penn State at USC.
Jeez.
So again, if you are going to an October 12th wedding and you are a college football fan, I apologize to you. You might have to be on your phone during the wedding. But so in that vein, is it rude to be on your phone at a wedding?
Yes. Yes.
How do you get around this if you're a college football fan and you're at a wedding at October 12th?
You choose not to go to the wedding. If the people have taken the time and the expense to invite you to a special day, look, if you want to excuse yourself to the restroom and take a quick peek, or you want to walk outside for a smoke break / check the game score, great. But you can't be at the reception or during the ceremony with an AirPod in watching SC and Penn State. No. Can't
what if
do
it's
that.
the cocktail hour?
I don't think that's cool.
That's like texting and driving. People
I
are going to do it anyway.
I got to be honest. I think I'm doing that either way. Like, and I'm not. I am being rude. You're right. I'm not saying that I'm not. I don't think I have the. This probably happens much more than it should happen. Yeah, I will check that phone to see what the scores are.
Yeah, weddings don't happen very often. If it's a backyard barbecue with your wife's friends that you'd rather not go to, knock yourself out. If it's a wedding,
you know, it'd be awesome at the wedding if they just had like 6 flat screens that are just hanging there.
great.
And
look, if it
next to
were
the
your
bar
wedding
area.
or my wedding or Emily's wedding or Jorge's
what
wedding,
if
we'd be okay with it because we get it. But
Yeah.
not everybody feels that
Maybe
way.
the bride or groom, or maybe both the bride and groom, both graduated from Penn State and want to see this big game, but they just and obviously it's hard to pick a date for a wedding. You pick the date ahead of time before you know the schedule. So what if they had like a little TV or like everyone celebrated like
If the bride and groom sign off on it, great. But if they're like, guys.
Again, here's another scenario. It's the portion of the night, the cocktail hour portion, where they're off taking pictures. You're not part of the wedding party. You're not part of that.
Let it rip.
Yeah.
Let it rip. Yep. That's because you're not.
They could be coming by the table saying, "Hey, thank you for coming." I'm like, just a second.
Yeah, hold on.
Field goal. They got to go for it here. What is he doing?
Flag.
Please keep it down for a
It's
second.
also
We're trying
how
to watch
you
a game here.
endear yourself to other guests at the wedding. Is that occasionally they might be like, "Hey, what you watching?" And then you strike up a conversation with another guest party. Again, not during the ceremony, of course. If it's something where you have to be a participant and an active watcher, I think you shouldn't be on.
When my brother got married, it was in the fall. It might have even actually been in October. The Dodgers and the Brewers were playing in the, I think it was the NLCS. It might have been the divisional round. And the game was going on as right before I was getting up to deliver my best man toast for my brother. And I have a lot of family that also lives in Milwaukee that were there to celebrate my brother's wedding. And I did make a joke about how I had checked the score right before coming up because the Dodgers were ahead, and I just wanted to pimp the Milwaukee people in the audience. But I didn't have my phone set up on the table as I was delivering the speech. You got a time and place. Time and place. Who's hot? Who's cold? It's brought to you by Next Gen, the official AC heat and plumbing company of SoCal sports fans. Call 833-3NEXGEN or visit nextgenairandplumbing.com. When I went up there and I said to my brother, I say, Sean, I very excited for you. And then I said, oh, by the way, 5-3 Dodgers. Chris Taylor just made a catch up against the wall, and Milwaukee people, poo, And my brother liked it.
You're like, I love you so much in the 2-2 pitch.
I don't think my sister-in-law enjoyed it.
See, when Brandon and I got married, we didn't want to deal with the speeches and all that. We're just like, let's get married, party, done.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was simple. Done.
Your day. You get to do it the way that you want to do it. If you want to have a unicorn fly in out of the sky, then do that. Right? Right?
Well, and there's a lot of other people that don't want to do it simple.
Yeah. You get 2 days, your wedding and your funeral. You're going to enjoy the first one a lot more than the second. Do whatever it is. You want to have submarine sandwiches and TVs? Knock it out.
Yeah.
You want to get all dressed up and be a weirdo? Knock it out. Right? Whatever you feel like. The Dump's coming up next. A little super crosstalk. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Decisions determined.
Really excited to see the new schools come into play at the Coliseum. Obviously, you're going to have Notre Dame to finish the season. That's always a special game. But seeing Nebraska showing up, Penn State showing up, LSU at the Collie, that's what I'm really looking forward to.
I think both programs, the men's football program and the men's basketball program, are moving in the right direction. And the women's basketball program at USC is going to be ranked top 5 next year. So it's a great time for the USC Trojans to be back on ESPN LA.
I'm really curious to see, what does USC football look like without Caleb Williams? What are the adjustments that Lincoln Riley makes? And what is the defense going to look like in the non-Alex Grinch era?
New conference, new quarterback, just really fired up on.
Get you the compensation you deserve, and you don't have to pay Jacob unless he wins. Nothing out of pocket. Free. Gratis. So if you're injured in an accident, the first name, the first thought, the first call should be Jacob. Jacob, Jacob, Jacob. The consultation is free. That's right. Free. I told you. Gratis. Don't wait. Call Jacob 24 hours a day at 844-24-JACOB. That's 844-24-JACOB. Call him 844-24-JACOB or visit him online at calljacob.com.
Call Jacob. Football is back, and the 2024 Los Angeles Rams preseason is in full swing. Get ready for an action-packed season as your Rams take on the Niners, Eagles, Dolphins, Raiders, Bills, and more right here at SoFi Stadium. You can experience all the energy and excitement of Rams football by purchasing season tickets at therams.com/2024. Again, that is therams.com/2024 to secure your seats for every Rams regular season home game. Purchase your season tickets today and experience football the Rams way.
Progressive presents Renter's MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Emily Neal's 70-inch TV. Because after watching her second-grade students yell at each other for hours, there's nothing Emily enjoys more than watching super rich housewives also yell at each other. Why? Because those women are not her responsibility. And that's why her TV is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Summer may be slowing down, but the deals at Vivid Seats haven't. Whether it's scoring MLB tickets for a night at the ballpark or locking down the biggest matchups for the upcoming football season, Vivid Seats has you covered. With the only rewards program in the game, plus an amazing selection of tickets, Vivid Seats has something for every fan. Catch the deals you want for the games you crave, all backed by a 100% buyer guarantee. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
It's time for everything we haven't gotten to today. Yes, it's time for the dump.
They showed this. They had this potential 12-man roster for the USA 2028 Olympics.
Okay.
Well, what's kind of a trip is if LeBron didn't play this year or Kevin Durant didn't play this year or Steph Curry didn't play this year,
Yeah.
or Joel Embiid decided to play for one of those other countries, I don't think USA's getting the gold. I really don't. And I'm not talking about all of them. I'm talking about one of them. You make case for any of those players not being there. So they started pointing out USA's obviously won the last 5 gold medals, USA men. This is the potential 12-man roster for USA in 2028 Olympics, okay? Bam Adebayo.
Okay, it's on the team this year.
Paulo Banchero from the Orlando Magic.
Okay.
Devin Booker.
Yep.
Mikal Bridges.
Okay.
Jaylen Brown, if he wants to be. Cade Cunningham. Anthony Edwards. De'Aaron Fox, Chet Holmgren, Jaren Jackson Jr., Jason Tatum, and Derek White. That's not winning the gold. It's not winning the gold.
I mean, it's certainly not on par with what they've been rolling out previously.
Think about what they just rolled out. Tatum wasn't even getting playing time.
Right.
Okay.
And by the way, who knows if Tatum even wants to? Maybe Tatum's got
right.
all sorts of hard feelings for what happened this time.
You might be right.
Brown, too.
Jaylen Brown, the same exact thing. Jaylen Brown thought it was like a Nike thing that was against him, whatever the case is. But it's kind of it's two ways to look at it. Number one, are you kidding me? Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and LeBron James still was carrying the USA Olympic team. I guess maybe we shouldn't be that shocked.
But their
surprised.
3 best guys were their 3 oldest guys.
3 oldest players.
Yeah.
So now, whatever you come back with, and I don't know, maybe Anthony Davis is still, maybe he's not. I just look at that team and I'm like, wait a minute here. These international squads that hung with this team that was here, I mean, we even had it in the past where even that Redeem team had to go through Spain, and that was a really, really tough game. Really, really close game. If it's that squad, and I don't know who's going to kind of come save Team USA, and who knows what these guys' levels are by the time 4 years from now. Maybe Anthony Edwards is the next coming
of all the guys on that list. He's the one that you're like, okay, him and Booker,
him and
Booker are the 2 guys you're like, perfect, experienced, been in it. Booker was a starter on that team the entire time and was played an incredibly important role.
But I'm going to use those 2 guys as examples. None of them were asked to do anything out of the ordinary.
No. Be a role player. You don't have to carry it. And the rest of those guys are, again, it's 4 years away. It's an eternity away.
Players we're not even talking about probably will be on this roster.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And then there's other guys that I think you wouldn't have been surprised had they been on the Olympic team this year under different circumstances, but that are still young enough to... What about Zion? What about Ja Morant? Zion obviously is a health question and a weight question. Ja is a can he get his act together question. And those guys are clearly 2 of the most talented American players that we have right now.
Will Ja Morant return?
Ja Morant. But yeah,
that's interesting.
Who's the guy that dominated the Ram? What do you call it? The Olympic preseason, the Olympic camp. It's not even in a college player. Cooper Flagg.
Oh, Cooper Flagg. Yeah.
Cooper Flagg might be not only on the team, but maybe he's one of the better players. It's so hard to project that far out.
It's a long way out, but and who knows when they won the gold in in Tokyo. Who knows if anybody thought that Bron's done, right? No, Steph's done, right? No, and then here they were all performing, they were all still playing. So
to your point, they don't win without Steph making 4 threes in a row. They don't win without LeBron being the MVP of the tournament. Kevin Durant's arguably the greatest American Olympic player ever. I mean, it's okay. Is Tatum, Edwards, and who else was on the
Jaylen Brown
I'm saying the guys that are on the team this year. Let's just say those 3 guys that you put in.
Tatum, Anthony Edwards, and Devin Booker are your 3 main guys that came from this past one. Derek White, but that's a role player.
Good luck. Happy birthday to my favorite Laker of all time, Magic Johnson, turned 65 years old today. I wonder if he'll start collecting his Social Security right now, or he'll wait till he turns 67.
I think he's waiting until 67.
Yeah, if you wait till you're 67, your payout's a little bit better. Would he even know? Like, if all of a sudden Magic's like, I could start collecting now, or I could wait a couple more years. I get another $800 a month if I wait 2 more years.
You know what's fascinating? Your when you think of Magic, I'm sure the first thing you think of, I'm assuming, AD Showtime.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I'm thinking of Magic. My first memory of Magic Johnson is losing to Michael Jordan.
Okay.
And the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
That's when I started watching Lakers basketball. A little bit before that.
Yeah.
But I didn't see Magic in the Showtime era at all. When you think of Magic Johnson, and this is kind of, it's not like this guy just played and that was it.
Well, he turned 65 today. So Magic Johnson has been famous for 45 years. That's a long time.
Yeah.
That's a look, because he was famous at 19 at Michigan State.
He was famous in Lansing, Michigan, when it's still in high school, winning national championships.
What I think of him is, I'm not going to be here
or
from that press conference at the end of that 2019 season, right? Where he just
somewhere around there,
dropped that press conference out of nowhere, and then also his tweets. I just want to read you guys a couple of his tweets. Some of the best ones that I have out there. So this is what Urban Magic Johnson tweeted out on March 6, 2014. He said, "The only way San Antonio and Miami don't win the championship is if neither team makes the finals." Thank you, Magic, for tweeting that.
What?
If they don't make the finals, they can't win a championship.
Exactly.
That is true.
Yep. Then what's the problem?
It is factually true.
Okay.
Here's another great tweet from April 25th, 2019. The Eastern Conference second-round matchups, Raptors versus Sixers and Celtics versus Bucks, will be some of the best in history. You can't pick a favorite because the teams are so evenly matched. He goes on to say, again, you have everything you want in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Great coaching, great scorers, great offense, great defense, and star power. There's just so much amazing information.
That
and
one's
so much
nothing
specific
compared
stuff.
to the one before.
They're all true. I haven't heard a lie yet.
Not a single lie. There's one that says, wait, I gotta go back to it. I lost it. Oh. By the way, Steph Curry, I had fun hanging out with your mom last night at the Sparks home opener.
Yeah. Now that one can be interpreted a handful of different ways.
Yeah, there's some amazing ones. And I think that there's every time something big happens in LA sports, I can't wait for Magic Johnson to look at the box score and then just tweet it. It's my favorite thing.
It's pretty great.
I'm going to go to...
It's pretty great.
And when you said that, she told a story of, it's kind of one of the weirdest moments in Laker history, right? Here is your president of basketball operations. Magic Johnson's kind of heading everything up. Rob Pelinka's under him. And it's this...
I'm genuinely asking, was that the hierarchy at the time, or were they like equals?
I don't think they were equal.
Okay.
I think it became Pelinka ended up
so Magic
taking over.
outranked him at the time.
Outranked him.
Okay.
And that's how I understand it, but if you want to double check it. But I just remember that day that she's talking about. It's the last game of the regular season. Lakers are taking on the Portland Trail Blazers, and Magic Johnson, they're not going to make the playoffs that year. And I remember I was going to go to the game, but it was still, pretty early, right? I was at the time, I don't even think I was doing pre-half and post yet.
Is that the Lonzo year?
No, I think they traded everybody because they already had LeBron.
LeBron was here
They already
by
had
then.
LeBron.
Yeah.
Or, no, it could have been the Lonzo year because AD maybe wasn't there yet. Yeah, I think AD was that summer.
Okay.
I think AD was that summer because that first year they won a championship. I remember, Trav, being at the LA Athletic Club, which is here in downtown. I just played some basketball, and there's a TV inside the locker room, and I'm looking at the TV, and I'm like, what's going on here? And Magic is doing his presser, basically saying that he's done. He's leaving.
He was nuking the proverbial burn the bridge on the way out of town. He was flamethrower, nuke.
It would get worse the next day.
It was far worse the next day.
First
went
take
on
or something like
with
that.
Stephen A.
So by the time I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm freaking here while all this is going on. So I hurry up, I change, I shower, all this stuff. I could have waited. I could have went and grabbed some dinner. I could have got another workout in and went back to crypto because he was talking. He talked for another. He might have been in front of a camera, as in like an official ESPN camera, whatever, for 20, 25 minutes. Dude was talking for an hour plus. I literally had enough time to get back down there and ask him my own questions and still had more time to spare.
It was really unreal because it's Magic Johnson taking a blowtorch to the Lakers. Like, think if Vin Scully just one day pulled up stakes right before he was getting ready to retire and just did an hour's worth of here's what's wrong with the Dodgers. So you'd be like, what? What is going on here? This is wild. And that's what it was. And like you said, he shows up the next day, and I was doing the morning show with Key and LZ at that point, and we were just kind of watching it in real time, and it just kept getting like, he said, what? He did what? And then here we are, and Magic is still favorite son of the team. He's, like Jeannie and he have both said, they're like brother and sister. Like they have this sibling relationship that goes back, 40 plus years. It's pretty rare to get to hit the detonator on your team and then just walk back in like nothing happened. It's pretty extraordinary.
Going back to like the original articles and stories.
Isn't that where he called him a snake in the grass or something?
Backstabbing.
That's what it was.
I was working at ESPN in Connecticut, and it's usually a pretty sleepy start to a shift. It was maybe a 3:30 start to a shift or whatever.
A.M.?
No, P.M. And by
Coffee
the time
shops were open.
7 p.m. comes around is when things really pick up, but 3:30 is kind of catching up on the day. I was cutting highlights.
Okay.
So catching up on the day, getting prepared for the night, and getting all everything ready to record. And then I hear someone from the control room, which I was in a different room, they go, roll on this! And it's Magic Johnson talking for 45 minutes or whatever, an hour plus. And I had to cut up the entire hour plus, which was fun.
It was pretty remarkable. Anyway, happy birthday. Happy 65th to Magic Johnson. It was today in 2015 that Straight Outta Compton was released. Of course, the movie, not the album. I got a funny story for this. The man who wrote the screenplay for Straight Outta Compton worked at Premier Radio Networks when I worked at Premier Radio Networks for Jim Rome. His name is Alan Wankus. And Alan Wankus was this guy that I didn't know him well, but my perception of him was he wrote these goofy parody songs for morning shows that would go around the country. Like he'd write a thing on the news about Bill Clinton or whatever. You're like, yeah, great, and it was like, it just kind of like, oh, that's the guy that writes the goofy parody songs. Watching the Oscars in probably 2015 or early 2016. Nominated for Best Screenplay, Alan Wankus. I'm
wow.
There's another Alan Wankus? Yeah, I'm like, and it was the guy from Premiere that wrote Straight Outta Compton. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Amazing.
Is that right?
Yes. I had no idea he was also a screenwriter, and he was writing.
Is this the anniversary
today,
for Straight Outta Compton?
It is. It was
9 years?
25th, yeah, 9 years.
9 years.
No, yeah, 9 years.
9 years.
I'm not good at math. I got more than
I
one
thought
B
it was.
in high
I thought
school.
I saw somewhere it was 9.
Yeah, it was Alan. Do you know Alan Wankus?
I do not. No, I was actually just joking. Alan Wankus? No, I don't know.
He was.
I was so sold. I'm like, oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think. You know what it'd be like?
Alan Wankus.
This would be. I'm trying to think of a good example. It would be like if Funchess was nominated for an Oscar 9 years later.
I'm here.
Yeah. It's like, it's like,
here.
Wait, I didn't know you worked on movies, that you had this shot in your bag. It's like just not only wrote and got a movie made, got nominated for an Oscar.
Okay, I'll tell you this story. So when I was doing the Snyder Show, there was a film critic for the LA Magazine,
Not the same story.
I've never told this story. Who would come in like on a couple of weeks basis. Here's my review for this movie and that movie, and it'd be great. And he said to me at one point, I wrote a screenplay. I've got it in the trunk of my car. Do you want to read it? I'm like, yeah, I'd love to read it. Gave me the screenplay. Never read it. Later told him I thought it was great.
He apparently didn't ask for notes.
Did not ask for notes. And about 5 years later, this movie comes out called The Contender, starring Jeff Bridges and Joan Allen. That was the screenplay he had in his trunk all that time. His name is Rod Lurie. It's a spectacular script.
Yes.
It's such a good movie.
Well, how would you know?
I actually did see I never read the script, but I did see the movie.
You gotta when somebody gives you this. Look, we've all been doing something like this for a long time.
Sure.
It goes, hey, would you mind taking a look at this? And let's be honest, the vast majority of the time,
hard.
It's bad.
There's a lot of stuff. Yeah,
it's bad. But every once in a while, you'll get a Lurie or a Wankus who actually has this thing.
Lurie and Wankus. They're probably working at Lurie and Wankus.
By the way, they should open a production company.
Yeah, they should.
Lurie and Wankus will make that.
Sounds like a law firm. Has that happened to you before? And there have just been a lot of like, hey, that you read a script,
Right.
and it just did nothing.
Does
that happen a lot?
Yeah, that does happen.
Okay.
That does happen. Where you take a look at this. Believe it or not, I wrote 2 screenplays.
Did you really?
They are both awful.
Give me the let's do this. Little super crosstalk, and then we're going Siskel and Ebert on Mason strips.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins.
Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
Not one, but 2 screenplays?
2 screenplays.
Damn. Wow. All right.
First one I wrote.
How old of a man are you at this point?
I am, let's see, it was 1993.
Okay.
So I wrote a screenplay about my life. It is so horrible. We went through all of our stuff, like throwing stuff out, getting rid of stuff.
So you're about 30 at this point.
About 30.
Okay.
Awful. It's called Growing Up Late. It is absolute dreck. So then,
because you went for sentimental and missed, because you tried to go for funny and missed.
Me and my dad. It was not. It was very dramatic. It was me and my dad. And then, so based on that script, I got hired to do another script.
Did you submit it?
I did
to
a guy named Joseph Perez, who is a producer, independent movie producer.
Okay.
And he said, "Okay, I've got something I want you to write," and he signed me to write this thing. And God, what was it called? It was Airplane Goes to the Olympics. That's
Airplane the comedy.
Airplane the comedy goes to the Olympics.
Okay, I'm interested.
He wanted to do like that sort of send up vibe for the Olympics. So I mean, I had East German women with beards, all that kind of stuff. Right? I just threw all the stupid stuff
the
in.
Tropes.
Never got made. But I think he paid me $5,000 for it. Yeah, so it was good. Then I wrote a short script that I did film called Little Devil, about the life of Lee Atwater, the political consultant. From I guess that was George W. Bush, the father, HW. So I wrote that too.
DeMarco, how many screenplays do you have in your back pocket?
That I've actually written out? None.
In
my head, thousands.
I'm sure.
I got to get it out. Yeah.
Are you a comedy man, drama, sports movie? What are we doing?
Drama. I love the dramas.
Good drama?
I saw The Contender. I like that movie.
It's so good.
Hey, could you put that out now is the question.
Because that's interesting.
That's kind of like what's going on now.
It is a little bit.
What's the plot? I don't know the movie.
Jeff Bridges is the president of the United States. He has to choose a new vice president. And he chooses Joan Allen, and she would have been the first woman in a major office. So it is sort of timely in that respect.
That was back in the 90s, right? Yeah.
The one thing I love about that movie, and if you've never seen the movie, it's terrific. Go back, and Jeff Bridges plays one of the best versions of a president.
Funny.
Very, very funny. And the thing he loves is ringing down to the kitchen and giving them the most impossible things they could possibly make for him.
Yes.
Just to see if they can do it. And he tells Joan Allen they have never missed. Like,
really?
It doesn't matter what I ask them for.
Now I want to be the president.
They bring it.
Oh,
yes.
I have no interest in the power or the prestige.
If
I'm
that's what
interested
you
in
get, I
Make
want that.
me this.
Carne asada taco.
Right
oh my
now.
God.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. For me, my favorite cinematic president, Kevin Kline and Dave.
Kevin Kline and Dave is great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Anywhere Morgan Freeman plays the president, I think he's played it like 5 or 6 times.
Isn't the government always getting taken down?
world
when
is
he's
ending or
like
something.
sometimes I feel like he's a vulnerable president.
That's bad news. I'm trying to think of other presidential movies.
Michael Douglas played a president in
American President.
Very good. That was a great movie.
That was a little aspirational, though. No,
everything Aaron Sorkin writes is
Bob
aspirational.
Rumser. Yes.
Bob Rumson.
Bob Rumson. Yes.
Yeah. Who?
Bobo Bobo the
Richard
president,
Dreyfuss.
Travis?
Yes.
What's that?
Bobo the chimpanzee, Travis?
Well, yeah, we got to get the Kamenetsky brothers, Commander and Chimp, made.
Right,
Oh
they're
my
working.
God.
They're working
Bobo
on a
would be the
screenplay.
president.
Go
They've
ahead
been
and
working on
put the
that
pitch.
one.
DeMarco
Yeah,
doesn't know it.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No.
You don't know this pitch?
No.
So the pitch is
This is the Cam brothers.
This is the Cam Bros.
Oh, boy. Hold on.
that I believe they have a smarmy vice president who is trying to usurp President Bobo. I'm not sure how Bobo gets elected.
I don't know
originally.
how he gets elected
I think
president
AK
either.
right now is very angry that you guys are not like precisely describing the plot
Like they
here.
should come in and clean up. But yeah, it's Commander and Chimp.
Yeah.
Commander and Chimp, and he straightens everything.
Who do you
out.
have in mind as the VP?
Well, I think
'Cause
Jay
that's a hell of a
Moore,
role.
Jay Moore
Jay
put
would be
his
great.
own hat into the ring.
Oh, nice.
As the smarmy VP.
By the way, Jay Moore, guest right now on the Culture Pop podcast.
there you go.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Great conversation.
There you go.
Yeah.
You've already recorded it.
Yeah, already recorded it. It's out right
Jay's
now.
a super interesting guy.
You can go to the Culture Pop Podcast YouTube channel or Spotify or Apple. It's a really good show.
He used to fill in for Jim when Jim would go on
Oh,
vacation.
yeah.
And he was great on the air, but when he was off the air, like during the breaks and stuff, he would have you howling,
Yes.
just like he
Oh,
would.
wow.
He would never stop. Like, dude, I need
Ruthless,
to
too.
catch my breath. Can you
Right.
please? He did a thing with Joe Morgan running around second base. It was the funniest thing. He did it off the top of his head, like he was just making it up as he was going along.
Yeah. Well, you know, he had a
Impressive skill.
huge addiction issue.
Oh, sure.
We talk about it a lot. Went to rehab. He was, Adderall was the drug
Really?
that he was dealing with, and finally did get out of it. They had a big intervention. We talk about it on the show. It's,
Okay.
it's an amazing story. But anytime somebody comes through something like that, I'm always like, telling that story is really powerful because somebody out there
100%.
is dealing with exactly the same thing.
No doubt.
Yeah. No.
So good for Jay.
Or a different addiction, and it gives
Right.
them some hope and confidence that they get out of
Yeah,
whatever.
you know what I'm addicted to?
What?
Ready Whip. It is so delicious.
whipped cream in a can?
Everything. I love whipped cream right out of the can.
I didn't know he was going to that.
What
happened to the summer shred?
Yeah, no.
I had no idea that was the transition.
Behind the back
to
pass.
get
Of course.
him.
Yeah, we went
I gotta
Adderall to Ready Whip.
Okay, hold on a second. I got to tell you something. I thought for a half a second we were going to get real because because here's what I thought was about to happen. Here's
That's what I thought, too.
Because what do you? People sometimes snort the gas out of those cans to get high.
Well, I don't do that.
That's
I
where
don't.
I thought.
I don't get anything out of
I
that.
thought
He means
you
literally
The sweet stuff.
I thought you were going with you were snorting the gas out of the Ready Whip
Absolutely
can.
not. Now Bergman says
know
he
of a
does that,
podcast.
and he does get a buzz
You
from
get
it.
like
I don't
the
get any
nitrous
buzz
or
from
something, yeah.
the can.
What do you put
that?
in Ready Whip on? Fruit?
So I have a small dessert every single night.
Okay.
Okay. That's the deal I made with myself. It's the one thing I give myself during the summer shred. So it'll be like a brownie, and I'll put Ready Whip on it, or a little piece of cake, I'll put Ready Whip on it, or a cookie, I'll put Ready Whip on it. Or fruit, I'll put Ready Whip on it. I love Ready Whip, and
basically all these desserts are just Ready Whip delivery devices.
That's 100%. And if you looked, and I'm not kidding about this, I'll take a picture and bring it back tomorrow. Okay. But there are 5 cans of Ready Whip in our fridge right now.
You had a moment.
That's pure addiction.
You had a moment during, I think it was during COVID, where you said you had like everything you had was Parmesan cheese.
I have so much green Parmesan cheese.
Like the Kraft stuff?
Oh,
Right.
yeah. We use that on everything. That's what we use for salt. Salt, you use Parmesan cheese.
Look,
This guy has 2 items in his
Ready
in the
Whip
pantry.
and green Parmesan cheese.
I have a can of green Parm in my fridge too.
Yes.
I think every
Costco
American does.
Standard issue, yes.
You can get real Parmesan cheese that's far better. Like if this is your jam, you make a nice living. You should get real Parmesan cheese.
But there's something about like the saltiness of the powder. It's a powder, right?
Yeah.
The
It is a powder,
saltiness
yeah.
of
It's
the powder
running
is
through the-
actually delicious. I think in a lot of ways better than actual Parmesan cheese.
You just want salt and MSG.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
But you can always find
Who wants the real thing when you could have the
green. You can always find green can of Parm and Ready Whip in my fridge.
Now that you're a leaner man, DeMarco, what is the item of excess in your fridge?
The item of excess in the fridge.
Ready Whip and
I mean,
Parm in the Mason household.
I still got bad stuff. I still got Ready Whip, just not to that level. I mean,
if anybody need a can, I'll bring it.
See?
I got an extra.
I cannot give up Hershey bars. I tried.
Oh,
like
really?
the original?
Yeah, the old 4 for $5 at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Put them in the freezer. Take them out.
You eat one every day?
Not every day, but they call to me.
couple squares, couple.
Oh,
I have.
When you open the whole bar's gone.
I was gone. Yeah. And usually at 10 o'clock at night when everybody's asleep, so no one saw me.
Oh, you sneaky.
Yeah, but now they're counting.
So yesterday was GKB Fit Day.
Yeah.
What did you guys do for
jumping jacks?
Did you? How many?
We had to do two sets of 20 during a break. It was
God. Okay, not gonna lie. You could tell the truth on this.
Was it like recess?
It was a little bit of recess.
PE.
Yeah.
Now you've dropped a lot of weight. You're doing a lot of stuff.
Walk talk.
Were you not breathing hard for a good 30 seconds?
No.
Were you?
You were breathing hard for 30 seconds.
No, I wasn't. That was very easy.
Well, I know it was easy,
but were you breathing hard?
Chris was there. Listen, Chris was there, and there were some moments where, and like you were talking, there was a little bit of. Well, but listen, that's not out of the ordinary. I mean, I felt like I was catching my breath on jumping jacks.
I was so relieved that we got jumping jacks because I couldn't do 40 push-ups.
Yeah.
I just physically can't do that.
They did 2 sets of 20.
That's good.
I would think about that the night before.
We had
if we had to do push-ups the next day, I'm thinking about jumping jacks.
Could you do 40 push-ups right now?
Probably not.
Yeah,
no.
I don't think I could.
I've guaranteed I'll do 40 at the golf tournament this year.
It's going to be good.
Yesterday,
we got it about a month.
Oh yeah,
less than a month.
And I'm training.
Yeah.
Now, yesterday it came up. The guys in the next, I guess the MCs all had to do planks.
Right.
And so Mark Cates, who's one of our best MCs here, did a 5-minute plank.
He's super fit.
So we were talking about it yesterday. I said, I think I can do a 5-minute plank.
Did you try?
I did.
Right there.
How
far'd you get?
5 minutes.
Oh, you made it.
5 minutes?
Did 5 minutes.
Super impressive.
Was it hard?
The last minute, I was very shaky.
Were you quivering?
I was quivering, yes.
Do you miss the old Mace at all?
Who is the old Mace?
The old Mace.
What was that
old
guy?
Mace used to just like grab a couple of donuts. He would Instacart. Reese's
peanut butter cups.
Yeah.
He did that.
He would wear sweats and stuff to the office.
Is there a day or two it goes by? You're like, you know what? Kind of missed that. I didn't know there was a 5-minute plank Mason.
Have you relapsed?
That existed.
I have honestly not.
You have not.
I have, and I don't think I ever will.
Good for you.
I don't think I ever will. I don't think I'm going back.
DeMarco, on your fitness journey over the last year or so, have you relapsed to where you have not?
No, I'm good.
Because you've got a ton of weight, right?
54, but this
54.
This is it. See, this is what I normally look like. The other guy was the guy with the problem.
And was it all? Did you do it all by walking?
Walking and the diet changed.
The diet
I went meatless for 2 years.
Oh, really?
It worked for me.
So vegetarian is what you're doing?
Yes, I do not miss it. I really don't. I don't. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many Hershey bars in a row have you taken down?
Come on, man.
In your heyday.
I'm trying to drill down.
Come on.
I'm trying to drill
in your
down.
prime, DeMarco. In your prime.
I have, and I've done much better
Midnight
over the last 8
crushing.
years. I have had some days that
You said
were
the
off
Oreos.
the rails.
Oreo
Midnight
sleeves.
crushing, right? Yes.
I've taken down sleeves of Oreos.
Yes, and crying at the same time.
Yes.
What am I doing to myself?
Just hateful eating.
But not lately.
Not lately in the sense, not in the last few weeks, but in the last.
He'll have a
since
moment,
I started. I started first of the year,
Yeah.
and I've done much better.
Yeah.
But I've had 10 or 12
The
days
walking-
where I've gone
yeah.
insane.
The walking helps the mental.
Yes.
Yeah, and that helps me with the eating.
I'm not getting the 5 a.m. text messages from DeMarcus.
I can put you on there.
Swinging the kettlebell
You
around.
know?
And yeah, put me on
I
there.
don't know what your schedule is.
I'll look at him when I wake up at 10.
When I was walking out the door yesterday, I said to you, I said, all right, I'll see you later. And you're like, yeah, no, Trav, do the kettlebell.
Yeah.
So I get home yesterday.
Did you do it? Yeah.
Hell no, I didn't do it.
Come on.
So I'm getting ready to go out the door, and I'm like thinking, hey, DeMarco told me to try it with just like a 5 or a 10 pound weight. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
No.
And I went and drank wine.
Aren't you going to
No, you didn't.
Went on a walk and then drank the wine.
Why don't you be one of those people that carries like the half-pound weight and does the walking?
No,
like
I'm not
that?
going to do that. I'm not going to have the walking stick either.
The ladies have these.
It's
not doing
always
that.
such a small weight.
Don't they have
too.
the
It's always
backpack
like,
on?
Yeah, but this is like with the kettlebell, the weight moves and you have to like balance.
Are you the camelback guy?
Camelback.
The water pack that you put on your back?
No, I'm not doing that either. That's crazy. No, and I'm not wearing the reflective stuff. No. Walk in the morning, yeah.
Well, the reflective gear would be advantageous to prevent a snatch.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't be snatched.
You're right.
That's right.
Cops could see it coming from a mile away.
True.
Super Crosstalk's brought to you by In-N-Out. In-N-Out, that's what a hamburger's